We know how to deal with the IRS and solve your situation. Just the other week, we successfully removed the target on a client who had been audited and was told he owed the IRS. We fought the notice and got him a refund instead. We also were successful with another client to get $94,000 of penalties removed. This is why we started Right Choice Tax Resolution, to help people fight the IRS and state. You don't know the ins and outs of taxes or the more than 20 penalties they can impose on you. We don't judge you. We just want to help so your bank account doesn't get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security get cut in half from garnishments, or a lien put on your house or that house you want to buy. Get rid of that stress and get back to enjoying life. Go to rightchoicetax.us right now to book a meeting. We get you may be embarrassed or angry. The situation won't go away if you do nothing. That's rightchoicetax.us.
These are powerful, FDA-approved pharmacological pain treatments precisely administered by an easy injection to the root source of your pain. Positive patient outcomes are over 91%. And we do this conveniently. The entire process is performed in-office, so it's very easy for our patients.
Rejuvenix founder Richard Salinas, with the help of some of the finest pain relief physicians in the country, have helped bring their proprietary pain treatment formula to the forefront of pain relief medicine. Having performed over 100,000 pain treatments and counting, patient results have shown again and again that pain relief is possible in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees, with some patients' pain relief lasting more than 2 years.
We're in-network with almost all major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid, and this could mean zero out-of-pocket costs for your pain relief treatment.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
When you need emergency service 24/7, any time of the day, any day of the year, call Quality Heating. With one of Wisconsin's largest HVAC fleets, you can count on us being there in a hurry. So don't worry. This is Anthony Zanevsky with Quality Heating. When you're in a heating or air conditioning jam, just see the man in the red van. And he's going to have a master plan to make sure you stay comfortable.
You gotta see the man in the red van. Quality Heating, Quality Heating.
We will only sell products we believe in. And we believe in Armstrong Air Furnaces. With variable speed blower and multi-stage performance, Armstrong Air's most advanced furnaces deliver the highest number of features, the most comfort, and the greatest efficiency. This is Anthony Zanevsky with Quality Heating. To me, Armstrong Air is the professional's choice. So see the man in the red van, and we'll get you a furnace you can rely on for the long haul.
You gotta see the man in the red van. Quality Heating, Quality Heating.
Protect mom's assets, protect your assets. Call Kraus Estate Planning, estateplanningpeople.com.
Traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
While you're navigating the roads as quickly and safely as possible, if you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line. 414-238-9329. Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
It's 3:01. I'm John Merkier. This is Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Your top story, both presidential candidates prepare to take the stage in Philadelphia.
I'm Julia Fellow. Arguments over mobile voting vans in Wisconsin. I'm Debbie Lazaga. We've got some delays already on 41 southbound, just south of Appleton Avenue, all the way down past Capitol Drive. Also some delays from about Hampton to Capitol on 43 southbound. Westbound 94, heavy from 16th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound so far so good. It's nice and clear. Westbound 894 backed up a bit from the Mitchell interchange to about Loomis. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight, partly cloudy, maybe an isolated shower, a low of 61 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny, hazy, warm, a high of 86. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump prepare to square off in their first presidential debate in Philadelphia. News Nation's Kelly Meyer.
Big task for the moderators, probably just as big a night for them as it is for the nominees themselves, where they think up those questions, just what they're going to ask. As voters we've heard from in Philadelphia want to hear more on the policy. That's what we've been discussing here on News Nation. What exactly is their platform and what will they get into on that stage tonight?
And we will be joined with perspective by Major Garrett, CBS's chief Washington correspondent. He's with us live at 3:45.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court hears arguments on using a mobile voting van for casting absentee ballots. A single van was used in Racine for the August 2022 election, traveling across the city for 2 weeks prior to that election. Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty filed a complaint the day after the primary, arguing that using the van was against the law. Whatever the court decides today will not affect the November election.
9 felony charges have been filed against 35-year-old Keith Jeter of Milwaukee after he engaged police in a shootout Thursday on the city's northwest side. TMJ4's Mary Jo Ola.
In the complaint, one of the officers credits a shield, a ballistic shield, for saving his life from a string of gunfire. That officer got away with a grazed wound to his hand and contusion to the forehead. Now, in his interview with police, Jeter said he knew he had a warrant and didn't think it was that serious, adding that he works as an unarmed security guard but goes armed so that he gets paid. That's despite knowing he's not allowed to carry a gun.
Jeter could face 60 or more years in prison if convicted on all charges.
Search and recovery efforts underway in Lake Michigan near Pleasant Prairie for a missing diver near a shipwreck site 6 miles from shore. The Coast Guard received notification from a vessel on the lake that a scuba diver did not return to the surface at about 11:30 this morning and was in need of assistance. It's estimated that water depth at the site of the wreck is about 100 feet deep.
With 12 days to go until the official start of autumn, Storm Team 4 meteorologist Tyler Moore says we'll soon start to see the annual fall foliage kick into gear.
No color across Wisconsin. There is one sliver of color right along the Lake Superior coastline in Minnesota where they have some low color being reported. But yeah, that's going to start to change pretty quickly over the next couple weeks as we get a little bit of color that starts to develop.
Your complete forecast is coming up.
Coming up, how often should you be washing your water bottles?
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 3:04.
This report is sponsored by Diamonds Direct. Your love, their passion.
You know Diamonds Direct for their exquisite diamonds and fine jewelry. What about luxury watches? With a handpicked collection by the industry's top timepiece experts, skip the waiting list and get the timepiece you've been eyeing right away. And this month only, enjoy 0% interest for 5 years on all the top brands. Imagine owning a $15,000 luxury watch for just $250 a month. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct, where you can shop direct for diamonds and watches.
Milwaukee College Prep, dedicated to closing the opportunity gap for children in Milwaukee, redefining what's educationally possible so more children can pursue their dreams. Join me, Good Karma Brand's founder CEO Craig Karmazin, and Milwaukee College Prep Thursday, October 17th, and take a stand in closing the opportunity gap for Milwaukee scholars. Your support means quality education accessible to over 2,000 scholars in Milwaukee's most challenged communities. Milwaukee College Prep is closing the opportunity gap. To learn more and purchase tickets, go to MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com and click support.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever. Overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for President.
If you have a comfort water bottle you carry around, it needs to be washed daily. CBS News' Jeff Wagner.
Bacteria seem to love water bottles more than other dirty places. Scientists swabbed common household surfaces for comparison. It found that reusable water bottles had 5 times more bacteria on them than a computer mouse, 14 times more than a dog bowl, and 40,000 times more than found on a toilet seat.
Your microphone isn't working. Oh, no. Nope, we can't hear you. I'll do it. Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All sports desk. Packers head coach Matt LaFleur confirms the plan at quarterback should Jordan Love be ruled out of Sunday's game against the Colts.
Yeah, if Jordan's not cleared, then we'll start Malik and Sean will be the backup.
LaFleur referencing recently acquired Malik Willis and second-year player Sean Clifford. The Packers are not expected to put Love on injured reserve after suffering a knee injury against the Eagles. Brew Crew began a day with an 8.5 game lead over the Cubs, to be exact, for the first-place division with 19 games to play. The Brewers begin a 3-game series with the Giants tonight in San Francisco. Coverage begins at 8:10 on WTMJ. Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 3:08.
This report sponsored by Fox World Travel. Go, Fox, go. Hey, it's WTMJ's Steve Scafidi with an announcement about my next WTMJ listener trip. Love these. Fox World Travel has crafted a fantastic itinerary which has special significance for me and you. We'll be visiting the country of my people, yes, Sicily. And to make it even more interesting, we're adding the country of Malta. It's called Sicily and Malta Mosaic, and it's happening in October of 2025 next year. Sicily is a fascinating island with an interesting and unique history. We'll see ancient ruins, charming old towns, sparkling coastlines, archaeological sites, and Europe's tallest active volcano, Mount Etna. And then bonus, we'll head to beautiful Malta, one of the smallest and friendliest countries in the world. My wife Kathy and I would love to have you join us on this special WTMJ listener trip. We've done it before. They're always fun. Join us. To get more information or make a reservation, visit foxworldtravel.com or call 866-GO-FOX-GO. Don't miss out on the early booking discount. Sicily and Malta Mosaic. Call today.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, John McCure and Julia Fellow.
I think there's ghosts in the studio. This is a weird thing.
I don't know.
My microphone worked all through the newscast till the very end.
And then I accidentally had mine on, and I was like, shh, turn your mic off.
And I was like, I think I have my microphone on.
And it was mine that was on.
And so our engineer, John Tyler, has fixed the microphone.
And he almost fell into the Annex Wealth Management.
Yeah, because he was hustling in here. Yeah, thanks, John. Appreciate it. All right,
Awesome,
so I think
John.
we're good to go. If not, the next 3 hours will be the Julia Fellow Show.
No, it will not. I promise you all, don't worry.
All right, I think we're fixed. All right, let's get to what we're tracking today.
This is the 3 at 3 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
Number one, something I always fear when I'm driving by a rig carrying some heavy machinery. I don't know if you feel this way too, John, but yesterday afternoon, a semi carrying a lift on Business 51 in Stevens Point clipped an underpass. That lift fell off the semi and onto a car coming in the opposite direction.
Yikes.
It crashed right onto the lift. The driver and passenger were rushed to the hospital, and it closed the area near 51st and Church Street for about 4 hours in Stevens Point while crews fixed all the damage. And those two people, the driver and passenger, are expected to be okay.
Yeah, that kind of freaks me out too. I'm with you. Oh, that's pretty terrifying. The second thing, a national park is calling out the world-changing impact of dropped Cheetos. So here's the deal. Carlsbad Caverns in New Mexico is a big national park. And apparently someone left a bag of unconsumed Cheetos in the huge cavern, and it caused a really big problem. The processed corn, softened by the humidity of the cave, formed the perfect environment to host microbial life and fungi.
Ew.
Cave crickets, mites, spiders, and flies soon organized into a temporary food web. They were all over the Cheetos. They carried it throughout the cave. Park rangers said they spent 20 minutes carefully removing molds and foreign debris from surfaces inside the cave related to the Cheetos. No word on whether they had orange fingers after removing all of that. The cave people, the national park rangers, saying it was completely avoidable. You're damaging our national parks. Please do not do this. Eating and drinking anything other than plain water attracts animals into the cavern, and it's against the rules.
Who would think Cheetos would do that?
Yeah, weird, but don't bring Cheetos into the national cavern.
Or in here, because we got a
we
bug
have fruit flies in here.
issue.
We're going to have to ask Kristen Bry about that. I wonder if they noticed the fruit flies in here, or maybe it's just us.
I don't know.
Is there a banana hidden under? I don't understand. There's fruit flies in here.
Number 3, the first commercial spacewalk will take place Thursday, and the customer is a 41-year-old billionaire, Jared Isaacman. He founded Draken International. It's an American provider for tactical fighter aircraft. for Contact Air Services, including the military. The mission on this trip is to test the SpaceX suits for when they go to Mars during the spacewalk. That spacewalk, again, is planned for Thursday. It's considered more risky than liftoff and coming back to Earth. John, there's been a lot of preparation for this day, including trying to help the billionaire not feel decompression sickness. You know how you get air sickness when you fly?
Sure. Yeah.
Apparently, when you're in a plane, you have about 10 to 12 pounds per square inch to maintain your comfortable breathing conditions during a flight. When this billionaire does a spacewalk, his suit will have just 5 pounds per square inch. So once you go back inside, it's going to feel a lot different.
Ooh.
You could get really
I'm out
sick.
on that. There's no way. I think it would be cool, right? I mean, who doesn't think that would be cool? But no, I'm too scared. I'm not doing that. Walking out into space.
They just took off
What if
this
something
morning.
goes wrong? Yeah, no. So you're talking about a billionaire. Elon Musk with SpaceX, the CEO, could be the first trillionaire in the next couple of years. Musk is worth $241 billion, so that's not that close to $1 trillion. But his net worth increases 110% each year, meaning that experts say in 2 years or 2.5 years, he could be worth $1 trillion. He could be the first trillionaire.
SpaceX alone, with his government contracts, he's making so much money.
He is. It is 3:14 at WTMJ. Kristen Bry from Spanning the State was in Brazil for the Packers game. She's with us live in the studio up next.
Welcome to another episode of Analysis, man.
From Buck superstar Giannis.
You know, and then I'm going to Chris at the time. What did coach mean? What do you...
And even Green Bay QB Jordan Love. There's only one call for these conversations.
I've never been in a Lambo, and I have to, right? What is this Lambo league?
Tune in to the Thanalysis Show, presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Find it today on Apple, Spotify, and anywhere you get podcasts.
John Mercure here for my friends at Dave Drake Camp Heating. They know that our climate can be all over the place. I mean, it was in the 30s inland a couple nights ago. That's pretty chilly. It's going to be almost 90 coming up later this week. That means you need a company that gets it, that understands our climate. That's Dave Drake Camp Heating. They've been here doing their thing for 42 years. They work here. They live here. They understand our climate. I understand them. They've been coming to my house for 10 years. A few years ago, I had the furnace and AC replaced. I went downstairs. The sticker on there from all those years ago was Dave Drake Camp Heating. For free estimates on new equipment, routine maintenance, or an emergency situation taken care of, get in touch with the teams I trust at Dave Drake Camp Heating. Got a question about your home comfort? Have Dave Drake Camp come out and check it out for you. Think you need a new system? You don't want to be thinking about it in February. Have them come out and give you a free estimate. It's Dave Drake Camp Heating. Dave Drake Camp, your comfort is their family's tradition. My home comfort at home, it's never been better. It's Dave Drake Camp Heating, DaveDrakeCamp.com. Just Google it, DaveDrakeCamp.com.
Dan, I love what we do at Inspired Closets.
Can you count the ways?
First of all, we're 100% locally owned, helping families in southeast Wisconsin calm the chaos and eliminate stress. We're not a franchise. And our lifetime warranty and price match guarantee.
Yes, Katie. Milwaukee homeowners have trusted the Anheuser family for 55 years for our commitment to quality, service, and competitive prices.
And we get to work together.
Yeah, that too. Buy local and save money today. InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
A wife and husband team.
Traffic is sponsored by SB Framing Gallery, Milwaukee's distinctive archival framing.
SB Framing Gallery in the 3rd Ward can enhance and protect your artwork for generations. Framing pieces with archival and distinctive design. Learn more at sbframinggallery.com.
Traffic and weather, let's check in with Debbie Loziga. Good afternoon, Deb.
Good afternoon. Westbound on 94. We got some backups basically from 16th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Westbound 894, a bit heavy from the Mitchell interchange to Loomis. Things filling in on southbound 41 from just south of Appleton Avenue all the way down past Capitol. Southbound 43 is looking pretty good now. So is northbound. So far, so good. Getting a little heavier between the Marquette and Fond du Lac, but nothing major to slow you down. I'm Debbie Loziga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, an isolated shower is possible. Another good sleep tonight, a low of 61 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny, hazy, warm, a high of 86. Thursday, mostly sunny, 84. On Friday, some filtered sunshine, a bit humid, a high of 78. And on Saturday, slight chance for rain. Don't cancel any plans. A high of 77 degrees. Right now, it's sunny and 78. That's so nice. That's our welcome back music for Kristen Bry. She is back from Brazil. She's the host of Spanning the State. It's on right before us from 1 to 3. Welcome back.
Thanks.
Before we get to Brazil, we've been wanting to ask you this, and now we're live in the studio, so we can. Do you have fruit flies in here occasionally?
Yes. It's so weird. I don't know how they get in here. I don't know if someone's leaving food, but it's a soundproof room with no.
Do you think it's coming through the food court?
I think it's Noonan. I think Noonan's hiding oranges or plums under the desk.
But it seems like such a weird area. We don't even the garbage can. It's all just paper. I have no idea.
Julie and I have tore this place apart. We were crawling under
I didn't see any today, though. Did you guys see one today?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
but
yet.
sometimes they show up at like 4 o'clock.
That's one of the reasons why I welcome winter is because the bugs go away.
I'm with you.
Me too.
What was Brazil like? What were the highlights?
It was a week-long trip, so it's hard to say what the highlights were. And it was fun because I talked about a little bit on the Spanning the State about this, is because the first half of our trip was really a friend trip because one of my best friends from college moved to Rio last year with her husband and her 2 kids because he works for Hunting, which is a company that sells parts to oil rigs for the ocean floor. And so they're there opening up the first office in Brazil. And so they went from the suburbs of Houston to literally Ipanema. They live on the beach.
That's the famous beach.
Rio. Yeah, the famous beach. And they literally from their living room can see the water. And their kids now speak Portuguese and go to the American school. And so the first half of our trip in Rio was with them and was family time, friend time.
Yep.
We did see Christ the Redeemer, which was cool, but it was really fun just to get to spend time with friends.
How big is it? It's hard to get perspective when you see the shots on TV and it looks way up there on the mountain.
It's massive. It is massive. And we went on a pretty hazy day, so the only unfortunate part was you couldn't see down in the same way of seeing appreciate how high up you were and the view you had of truly the 360 aerial view you have of all Rio. But the statue itself is, I'm trying to think of what I would even. I mean, it's not as big as like the Statue of Liberty or anything like that. But it's big in person.
All right, so we brag about our beaches here, whether it's Hilton Head or it's Florida or it's Huntington Beach in California. What are the beaches like in Brazil?
The Copacabana is...
Yeah.
I mean, so that's top 5 beach in the world. I think it's ranked annually all the time. Granted, it's very touristy. And Ipanema is, it's right around the corner from each other. So it's basically...
The same sand. It feels the same.
The sand is sugar. Ooh. It's some of the softest sand I think I've ever stepped in. There's no rocks. You can just walk around. It's totally fine. The water is super clear. There's no critters or little fishies or anything.
How's the water? Because in Cabo, you can't swim.
So the water, you can definitely, there were surfers out there every single day. You can swim. But what's interesting is you have to remember is that their Atlantic is like our Pacific. So their current is coming up from the Antarctic.
Yeah.
And so it's colder, even though our Atlantic is warmer because it's coming up from the equator. And so we dipped our toes in. Well, actually, Mike swam. I dipped my toes in. It was a little cold because it's the end of their winter. So while it wasn't cold at all, it wasn't so hot that I needed to cool off.
So because their summer's not here yet, was it not as busy?
It was not as busy.
That's nice.
My friend showed me some pictures of what Ipanema looks like in the summer, and you can't even see the sand because it's so busy. There's so many umbrellas up. There's so many people. Oh, wow. It's so packed. And there was definitely people out there, but it was not, you could walk out easily and find a spot. And so, yeah, but it was not as busy as it looks like it can be in their summer.
So were you humming those 2 famous songs, Girl from Ipanema and Copacabana, the whole time?
No.
Like how do you be on the beach and not think about those 2 songs?
Well, it was funny because there's the guy who wrote the song. They have a little bronze statue of him walking in Ipanema right on the beach with his guitar. And so I told Mike, I was like, go take a picture. Like, let me get a picture of you guys together. And as soon as he just leaned it on, he's like, it's like their bronze fun. So I was like, it might be a little bit more culturally relevant.
What's the food like? So I think, we think of Central America and a lot of South America. You think of Mexican type of food, but Brazil's Portuguese. What's the food like?
It's the biggest, they eat a lot of meat, a lot of steak. And I think there's a lot of cattle farms. You think of Argentinian steak. But it wasn't as distinct to me as like Mexican food. As far as it's still like a lot of rice and beans, but the heavy emphasis on meat wherever you go. But the funniest thing was at the Packer game. Well, and I knew this was a thing besides, but this is where my husband actually had one. On their hot dogs, Guess what they serve with their hot dogs? Like inside, like it's layered in there.
Is it another piece of meat?
No.
Plantains.
Mashed potatoes.
Really?
Okay.
Wow.
Goes down the gullet better.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Kind of random.
Wow.
But yeah, so that was, I guess that is I don't know if it's a delicacy, but it is a thing.
That's interesting. I would try that for sure.
So 45-minute flight from Rio to Sao Paulo.
That
right?
was easy. That was a really easy flight.
So here's my question for you. When you were watching a game and Jordan Love gets injured, did you know as a fan in the stands that he was injured?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, and it was that last drive of feeling, and also you have to remember it was almost 1 a.m. and it was a really long game.
It was.
If you think about in that lull in the third quarter between all the penalties, and I think it seemed like there was a lot of commercial breaks.
Yep.
And so, we're kind of fingers crossed that last drive, but also accepting that this could be it. But it's also almost 1 a.m. in Brazil. It was a really late game. And then that's that play, and you see him go down, and you see kind of how it catches, and then he didn't get up. And we weren't necessarily in a Packers section. I think there wasn't really any section that you could tell was predominantly Brazilian fans. Next, there was Eagle fans, and then Packers fans. Like the Eagles fans definitely outnumbered the Packers fans.
We always brag about how well we travel.
And I think we did travel well, but I think Eagles fans, because it was a home game for them. And so that was also interesting, was being there and how much cooler it would have been had all of the Packer songs and signage been there. But for the Eagles, since it was their home game, you had to listen to like their victory song.
That's true.
It's
I
like
didn't
a
think
weird
about that.
college victory song that I was like, this is what you guys play every time you win? You score a touchdown?
Was the scoreboard and maybe the announcers, were they speaking both English and Portuguese?
Yes.
Okay.
But what was interesting was that the sound system for the stadium like every time, there were so many penalties, every time the refs would announce whatever the call was, it sounded like the Peanuts teacher was talking. I was like, rah, 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 rah. And I was like, I have no idea what they just said. And so I don't know if it's because there's so much less, because in soccer they pull the card, right?
Yep.
And there's not the refs necessarily announcing to the stadium what is happening. And so yeah, that was a big unless you knew what the signals were from the refs.
You didn't know.
I looked at Mike, I was like, what did he just say?
Oh, that's funny. Kristen Bryce, Spanning the State is from 1 to 3, Monday through Friday. We're glad you're back. It's always good to have
Happy
you back
to be
in the
here.
building.
Yes.
It is 3:25 at WTMJ. Let's check out your money for today, the Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed bag. The NASDAQ was up 141 points. The S&P was up 24 points. The Dow came back a little bit, but ended the day down 93 points for the afternoon. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth. Annex Private Client. Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
Save big money on new siding now at Menards. Update your home's exterior with Cedar Creek vinyl siding. This easy-to-install, low-maintenance siding withstands the elements and is available in 16 color options. Hurry in and save big money on Cedar Creek vinyl siding today. And check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
For your next night out, make Aria, the acclaimed restaurant inside St. Kate the Arts Hotel, your dinner destination. Aria, nestled on the second floor of St. Kate, is an artful dining experience that captivates with its culinary creativity. Delighting in its offering of artisanal American cuisine, the restaurant transcends tradition and leans into the realm of playful and inventive flavors. Come and experience the magic of Aria, where every bite is a work of culinary artistry. Learn more and make reservations at aria@stkate.com.
Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning. You want to make sure your water is well taken care of? Do what I do. Go with Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning. I'm a customer. I've got a water softener in my house. I've got an RO system. That means the water coming in is filtered. It's crisp, clean, clear. It's delicious, and it's healthy. It's fantastic. Owners Sue and Rob, they're the real deal. Generous in the community, and their staffs are trained to be like your family when they're in your house. Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie and Fry, quality products and services at a fair price from a local company you can trust. It's a company that I trust. Southeast Wisconsin's #1 choice is Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning.
Bank 5-9 has a mission to make lives better. That mission extends beyond their customers and communities to their employees. Bank 5-9 was just honored again by the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel as a top workplace. That makes 15 years in a row. In fact, they were named the #1 midsize employer in the region and earned special recognition for the company's overall direction. Want to learn more about working with the great people at Bank 59? Visit bank59.com/careers. Equal Opportunity Employer, member FDIC.
If you've ever worried about your heart, if you've ever loved someone with heart disease, if you've ever wondered if you're the one at risk, let's remind ourselves that we are not powerless. Because at the Froedtert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, we're pushing to outsmart heart and vascular disease by working with you personally to understand your history, assess your risks, and guide you to heart strength. By digging deep with tireless research and offering access to leading-edge clinical trials. And for the most serious conditions, including heart failure, heart valve disease, arrhythmias, and vascular diseases, we provide renowned expertise and the most advanced life-saving procedures you expect from academic medicine. So let's get out in front of heart disease. Let's outsmart it. Let's keep pushing so that every one of us can outrun it and embrace every beautiful day life in Wisconsin has to offer. To learn more about our nationally renowned heart and vascular care, visit froedtert.com/heart.
Quick question. How are you feeling in 2024? You're not alone if you're feeling stressed about your investment and retirement planning. There's inflation, market volatility, global unrest, and a presidential election that's going to have a huge impact on many levels. There's a lot going on, which might lead to anxiety and planning paralysis. How about this? Take control with help from Annex Wealth Management. Build a plan that matches up with you, your family, and your investment and retirement goals. Even better, Annex does it as a fee-only fiduciary with unbiased advice. We don't sell a thing. Annex offers financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth is a great fit for most, especially when approaching retirement. For those with high net worth and complex planning challenges, consider the Annex Private Client Experience. And if you're just starting out, Annex Ignite might be the right fit. Head to annexwealth.com, click the Get Started button. It only takes a couple of minutes. It's time to put things in order and lower the stress and anxiety. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That's Annex Wealth Management, annexwealth.com.
Our goal is to provide patients with the strongest, most effective, and safest options in this exciting field of regenerative medicine.
Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, National Medical Director at QC Kinetics.
The idea that you can avoid a joint replacement is very exciting.
And that's from a surgeon who's done thousands of joint replacements, but who now believes there's a better way.
Regenerative medicine, as we understand it today, gives lasting pain relief, improved function, without surgery, without drugs.
Under Dr. Scheinkup's leadership, QC Kinetics medical professionals treat patients every day with the most advanced protocols in natural biologics. Literally tens of thousands of people all over America.
I've been doing research on regenerative medicine for 2 decades. This is the future of medicine.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Traffic is sponsored by Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield. Visit holtebeck.com.
Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield is excited to welcome Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist. Learn more at holtebeck.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 3:31. I'm John Mercure. Your top story: a sexual assault investigation at a downtown Milwaukee campus.
I'm Julia Fellow. Investing in Catholic education for local students.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Northbound on 43 coming out of the Marquette. Going to be a little bit tight right past Fond du Lac Avenue. Southbound's just a little heavy between Hampton and Capitol Drive, and then back on the brakes through the Marquette and onto the high-rise bridge. Westbound on 94, slowing from about 16th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. Eastbound still clear through the construction zone east of Meadowbrook Road or Highway G to Highway 16. Before that, there's a little bit of a heavy ride, but it's not too horribly bad. Eastbound then, beyond the zoo, you're looking at a little bit of a backup right past 68th Street. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight will be partly cloudy. Isolated showers are possible. Low of 61. Tomorrow, sunny, hazy, and warm. A high of 86 degrees. The current temperature right now in Milwaukee is 79 degrees.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Milwaukee police are investigating an alleged sexual assault at Milwaukee Area Technical College's downtown campus. The alleged assault occurred Thursday afternoon in a student center bathroom, and both the suspect and victim are students at the school. MATC's Public Safety Department has identified a person of interest, but police have no one in custody. Campus police are conducting additional patrols as a precaution.
An update on a manhunt for a murder suspect in Kenosha, 25-year-old Lawrence Franklin Jr., charged with 7 felonies, including first-degree murder in the deaths of 22-year-old Amaya Prather and her unborn baby girl. He's still on the loose and considered armed and dangerous. Prather was found dead from gunshot wounds on Friday in an abandoned car near 65th and 13th Avenue. Lawrence was last seen leaving a house Friday night near 40th Street and 11th Avenue in Kenosha. Police also looking for individuals that helped him as he committed the alleged murders.
A 20-year-old Waukesha County man faces a long recovery after he spent more than 12 hours in a ditch following a motorcycle crash.
Alex Giemza lost control of his motorcycle and crashed on I-43 near Sunny Slope Road.
He remembers hearing rush hour traffic, and he remembers nobody stopping.
Giemza's sister, Kelly, tells TMJ4 News he was in the ditch for more than 12 hours before someone noticed the wreckage.
I'm happy that he's alive and somebody stopped and saw him and did that because, sorry.
Now comes the long road to recovery.
He still doesn't have feeling from the waist down because he hurt his spine.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
For the first time in nearly 60 years, new Catholic schools are being planned in Milwaukee. The $23 million investment will include 2 new locations for St. Raphael and Prince of Peace schools on the south side. It will hold about 500 students from kindergarten through 8th grade. Archbishop Jerome Listecki says the investment shows the Archdiocese's commitment.
When you're talking about individuals who are economically challenged or individuals who find neighborhoods that are somewhat depressed, that literally it's education that allows an avenue for individual students to progress in their lives.
The new schools are set to open in the first half of 2026.
There's new funding to end food waste. The new Food Excess Equitable Distribution, or FEED MKE project, aims to reduce food waste and redistribute food to the hungry. Food waste coordinator for the Milwaukee Environmental Collaboration Office, Andy Shaka, outlines what the $127,000 in mini grants can be used for.
We're looking to help people recover more food before it becomes waste, to share surplus meals with hungry people. Or these funds could support collaborations with a local farm, gardener, gleaner, or grower to help them get fresh food from the field to those in need, preventing food waste at the very beginning of the distribution cycle.
Projects would launch by January 2025.
Just a bit outside, a documentary about the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers will debut at Marcus Theaters Friday.
We all think we know the story of 82, but we don't know the story behind the story of 82.
Brookfield's Sean Hannes produced the film along with friend and fellow Wisconsinite Kelly Call.
The story seems to work whether you are really familiar with what happened or you don't know the players or the team at all. You couldn't write this stuff. You really couldn't.
From Paul Molitor and Robin Yount to Bud Selig and Bob Uecker, no stone was left unturned.
We had about 100 hours of archival along with 45 hours of interviews. They pulled stuff that I don't think people have seen before.
Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
President Joe Biden is inviting the Yukon Huskies to the White House today in honor of their men's NCAA basketball championship.
And for the 6th time in just 25 years, Yukon Huskies are atop the men's basketball world again, man. That's pretty cool.
Earlier today, President Biden celebrated with the women's basketball champs, South Carolina's Gamecocks.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Packers are not expected to put quarterback Jordan Love on injured reserve after suffering a knee injury against the Eagles. Malik Willis will start for the Packers if Love is not cleared. And the Brewers begin a 3-game series with the Giants tonight in San Francisco. Coverage begins right here on WTMJ at 8:10.
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 3:36.
This report is sponsored by Diamonds Direct. Your love, their passion.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right, enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit DiamondsDirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Debbie Lazaga here for Kohler Services. If you need a bath or shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years. Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. This month only, get $1,000 off and 0 interest for 12 months on your Luckstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote, with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
Hey, sure looks like the Brewers are going to the playoffs. They're, I think, 8.5 games up with only 19 left to play. How good is that? You know what's even better? We've got tickets to give away. Every Tuesday during the regular season, when there's still a game left on a Tuesday, we give away a 4-pack of tickets. They're really good tickets. So, the last game that's on a Tuesday of the season takes place next Tuesday, the 17th, the last home game.
Fun.
The last Tuesday home game. It's against the Phillies, so let's give away some tickets. How about caller number 93?
What?
93.
Okay. Awesome. Perfect.
That's what we're doing, Brandon.
Is it perfect, Julia?
There's one. I hear. Look at the phones are ringing.
Now you got
Caller number
92
9.
left.
Caller number 9, you win the tickets. Otherwise, Brandon will still at 4 o'clock be answering phones. Caller number 9, 855-616-1620, 855-616-1620. You win tickets to next Tuesday against the Phillies.
Why did I get in trouble?
Yeah. I'm his favorite.
Exactly. We just can't quit it with Aaron Rodgers, by the way. A Netflix documentary. You didn't know about this morning.
No, I did not.
I didn't know either until I just read the headline. It's called Aaron Rodgers Enigma.
Ooh.
On Netflix. You'll have to wait a bit to see what looks like to be a documentary right after he tore his Achilles, and it takes you through his recovery. We got a bit of a sneak peek, and it looks like he takes cameras along for the ride in a private jet. Take a listen at this.
Listen, I believe in the power of prayer and intention. And from the first night this happened, hours after that, I was surrounded by a bunch of really special people in my life. And we just laid down a lot of prayers.
Now, as he's doing that, his foot is lying on a woman's lap. Her hands are on it, kind of caressing his foot.
Oh, yeah. She's like making love to that foot, basically. Seriously.
Seriously.
She is seriously rubbing on that foot.
So when
That's
you
gross.
and Brandon were talking about it, I was like, how do you know? Was she massaging it? Maybe it's a massage therapist. And Brandon's like, no. This is definitely like a love.
Oh, you saw
touch.
she was hand humping that foot. I mean, she was all over that foot.
But you don't see her face.
No, you don't. So, have you been able to glean any clues? You can see some of her hair. You can
I thought it
see
was
her
Shailene
outfit.
Woodley. Yeah, well, you saw his foot. He's got a beautiful foot.
No, he doesn't, Julia.
He's such a handsome foot.
No, you see how long those toes are?
His toes are very long.
Those toes are longer than my forearm.
Did you say handsome foot?
His toes are gorgeous. His foot.
I'm going to ask you a straight up serious question. Do you find men's feet attractive? Are you into feet?
No. His feet are so attractive. Look, there's no fungus on it. I mean, what?
Oh, God. Feet are so gross. Feet are bad.
All right. Anyways, he talks about the game as well. When he's down to the 20-yard line, it's all about percentages. It's really cool about what he talks about who he'll throw to. And this is also, isn't it?
It is very
it includes
interesting.
Anywhere from a 20% completion to a 90% completion average. And he talks about this too.
I got to factor in what down and distance it is, who that guy is. Like James Jones back in the day, every jump ball to him, we 20% with most guys, 50% with him. So that changed your mindset. Like, oh, there's a 50% throw out there, and I got a 30% here, and an 80% here, and a 90% here. In the end, it's all percentages.
I need that music to be a little louder in the background.
A little bit.
They got him on the plane. This is my thought, that whoever, he agreed to do a documentary, and I think that maybe this is the one chance they were able to corner him and interview him, because a plane, that audio's hideous. You know?
Yeah. You probably think I'm being rude right now because I'm looking at my phone.
Not really,
I'm
no.
desperately looking at Twitter trying to find out if anybody knows who the woman is.
No, you're working. It's all good.
And they don't. Like the New York Post wrote a little article that said it's a mystery woman caressing his injured foot.
It really is. If you guys look at it, you can tell that she loves his foot.
Oh, I mean, she's basically...
Stop. we know.
Get off his foot. Just get off his foot.
And he's loving it.
Yeah, he's loving it.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. You sound great.
Someone's giving me a heart. That's very nice.
That's very nice. All right, it's 3:42. Enough of Aaron Rodgers. Enough with the mystery woman.
With the foot?
Yeah, with the foot. It's 3:42. Hey, let's get to it. It's a big, big night. It's presidential debate night. Major Garrett is CBS's chief Washington correspondent. What will he be looking for and focused on tonight? Major with us live up next.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
There's an active car fire on Brewers Boulevard southbound.
Call me, Debbie Loziga, at the Hall Volkswagen traffic tip line at 414-238-9329.
There's a multi-vehicle accident on 45 northbound, just over Mayfair Road. Looks like the left 2 lanes are blocked.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it?
There's a multi-vehicle accident. Looks like the left 2 lanes are blocked.
Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. They do it right at Azura every single time I've been in their facilities, and they just really take care of people. It's about warmth. It's about compassion and empathy. Their mission at Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living is to transform the culture of care, and they do it every single day. Alzheimer's, other related dementia symptoms, they take care of people. They just have heart. They have many locations, 4 in the Milwaukee area, Wisconsin-based, family-owned. They take care of people, and I feel that every time that I'm in one of their places. It's kindness at the core. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
No matter what your timeline is, you deserve a journey to paradise with Fox World Travel and Royal Caribbean. When you get the craving for sunshine, poolside fun, and ocean views for miles, there's no reason to hold back. Make the most out of your time with an all-in-one cruise vacation. Let a Fox World Travel cruise expert save you from the daunting task of choosing from ships, ports, and staterooms. And visit foxworldtravel.com to plan your next cruise vacation. That's foxworldtravel.com.
I'm Kamala Harris. Here's a few things I believe. Middle-class families, like the one I grew up in, they want common sense solutions. You want lower prices and lower taxes. I believe you want to just not get by, but you want to get ahead. We must create an opportunity economy where everyone has a chance to get a car loan, buy a home, start a business. And I believe we can make that happen.
Kamala Harris's plan? Bring down costs by cracking down on corporate price gougers. Make homeownership more affordable for families. A middle-class tax cut for 100 million Americans. And make sure billionaires and big corporations pay their fair share so you can keep more of the money you've earned.
Instead of being focused on the politics of the past, we need to be thinking about the future and how we make it better for families like yours. I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Harris for President.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. Yet at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Traffic is sponsored by Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Personalized furniture the way you want it in just 35 days. Shop the Labor Day event in Norwalk Custom Furniture at any Ken Michaels Furniture stores. Showrooms in Greenfield and Brookfield.
Traffic and weather. Let's get a look outside with Debbie Loziga. Hey, Deb.
Hey there. Looks like we've got westbound 94 kind of slowing down out of the Marquette all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. At least the eastbound side's doing a little bit better. We just have a little bit of a backup right at the stadium interchange itself. Southbound on 41, still heavy from Appleton down past Capitol Drive. We've got southbound 43 from before Hampton down to Capitol, and then just a little bit through the Marquette itself and onto the high-rise bridge. Northbound 43 is a little tight, though, from just north of the Marquette up to just past Fond du Lac Avenue. I'm Debbie Loziga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight will be partly cloudy with isolated showers possible, low of 61. Tomorrow and Thursday, hazy and warm, a high of 85 both days. Friday, high clouds, filtered sunshine, a bit humid, high of 78. Saturday, mostly cloudy, a slight rain chance, a high of 77. The current temperature in Milwaukee is 79 degrees.
I think this is the new Major Garrett music.
Love it.
This is it right here.
Excellent.
Major Garrett is CBS's chief Washington correspondent. He joins us from New York this afternoon. His Takeout podcast is heard on WTMJ. And check out his other podcast. It's excellent. Agent of Betrayal. Major, thank you for being with us.
Good afternoon. How is everyone?
Everybody's great here.
So excited about tonight's debate.
We are jazzed. We're really jazzed. We're jazzed as hell to be watching this debate, to be honest with you. What will you be looking for tonight?
Couple of things. First of all, this is not 2016 and Kamala Harris isn't Hillary Clinton. Former President Trump's advisors know that. They're just not certain he knows that. And what do I mean by that? Hillary Clinton ran for president in 2016 with 20 years of accumulated conservative criticism dragging behind her. Also, she was, to the minds of many Americans, a kind of all too familiar dynastic representation of the Clinton presidency that did not land well. Kamala Harris isn't any of those things. She doesn't have any of that baggage. And importantly for this country, the conversation about sexism and diminishing a woman simply because she's a woman running for president won't land the way it did in 2016. Remember, there were some pretty cruel lines that then candidate and nominee Trump used against Hillary Clinton in 2016. Women are much more engaged on that level. They're much more familiar with that. They're much more resistant to that. And as we have learned in every election, special or otherwise, since the Dobbs decision, women are showing outsized influence on elections over a range of issues, not the least of which is access to reproductive freedom. So how all those things play out tonight is fascinating to me. And on the other side of that equation, Kamala Harris has to reach a still, in America, undefined stature of a woman seeking the presidency. Until we elect a woman president, whether it's Kamala Harris or anyone else, until that moment happens, we don't know what that standard and that threshold is. It's still without definition. Tonight, she has to convey not only a vision, a sense of herself, but a sense of strength commensurate with our expectations of that office. And that's harder than it sounds.
I think that what we're hearing about as far as baggage is concerned on her is that apparently Trump wants to put all of Biden's baggage on her shoulders. But we kind of saw when the CNN interview happened with her that she kept on saying that was Biden's administration or that was the president's view, or she kept on trying to redirect that.
Sure, exactly. And you're exactly right. The strategy for former President Trump, as communicated to him by those who've been working on him in debate prep, is essentially say three things over and over. Inflation, immigration, world on fire. Rinse, repeat. Rinse, repeat. Just keep plowing that forward and make Kamala Harris not look like the change agent, which to the minds of some Americans she does, as a contrast to the deep familiarity our country has with former President Trump, that Trump is the change agent. If you are unhappy with existing policies in America, they are not going to change if you elect Kamala Harris. They're going to be very similar. Trump wants to paint her as Joe Biden equivalent status quo. What Kamala Harris has to do is say, look, I'm supportive of the things that are working in the Biden administration. I'm supportive of the things that have created jobs, that have raised wages, not enough to keep pace with inflation, but certainly higher than any other competitive industrialized democracy on earth, which is true. And I'm going to do other things. I'm going to change this. I'm the change agent. I'm not the incumbent. That battle for who the incumbent is and who the incumbent looks like at the end of the 90 minutes will tell us a fair amount about how this election is going to shake out.
Major Garrett, CBS's chief Washington correspondent, is with us. Major, you mentioned what America's ready for, what they'll look at. Do you think there's the possibility, and you've researched a lot of elections and talked to a lot of voters, that in some swing states there's a possibility there's unconscious bias and it could be difficult for Kamala Harris in some swing states?
It could be. It certainly could be. And like I said, until we have crossed that standard, and I'm not saying we will in this election, but I do believe sometime, probably in my lifetime, but certainly in the lifetime of this country, we'll cross over that threshold and elect a woman as president of the United States. But look, all of us go to elementary school reading about the father of our country, the father, not the mother of our country, the father of our country, George Washington. And we have always associated the presidency with masculinity. Donald Trump does not lack for confidence or masculinity, okay? That was a problem for Hillary Clinton. It may or may not be a problem for Kamala Harris, but it is one of those hard-to-define thresholds that only a woman seeking the presidency has to cross over. An unconscious bias against that, or reluctance or hesitancy there, is something as a nation we're still grappling with, and we will until we cross that threshold. One other thing about elections in my studying of it. In a recent podcast, former President Trump said something that I've known to be true since 2020. He lost the election by a whisker. He didn't say he was defrauded. He didn't say it was stolen. He didn't say it was rigged. He said he lost by a whisker, admitting for the first time that he lost, that he was a loser in the 2020 election. What I also hope to hear tonight is that confession repeated for all the world to see, that he lost, it wasn't stolen, and I'd also like to hear him say he's going to stop lying about the 2024 election, saying all sorts of things are already happening. They're not happening. Election administrators are doing their work, following the law, and preparing for this country to vote. And they should be allowed to do that work without harassment and lies of the kind that former President Trump is spreading with undue and unwelcome frequency.
And wouldn't that be good for him? That would seem to be good strategy, Major, for him to come out and say, look, we fought hard. There are irregularities I'm uncomfortable with, but I lost that election by a whisker. Let's move on. We're getting them now. And you know what? I wish I had won, but I lost by a whisker. Wouldn't that actually help him in some circles?
It would help our country. I'm not sure it would help him because there are 1,600 people who have been prosecuted and who have admitted to committing acts of violence or trespass at the U.S. Capitol who believed his lies. And he has some explaining to do to this country for all the trauma, all the anguish, all the unnecessary, pointless grief we went through on January 6th and every day since then with his lies about the 2020 election. It would be great for the country for him to come clean. But it would also increase his legal peril because the federal case pending against him, which will come to trial at some point if he's not reelected. If he is reelected, he can probably kill that. But if he's not reelected, he's going to have to face that. And if he confesses again that he knew that he lost, that makes those charges all the more ripe and piercing. But it would be very good for the country for him to admit what he has always known, that he lost, that it was close, that he gained a lot of votes compared to what he did in 2016, but he still lost. He's always known that. And those around him have told him that again and again and again and again. He admitted it in public on a podcast recently. I would love for him to admit it again. And whatever damage comes to him, politically or otherwise, he's earned all of it.
I don't know. He may stay in the shadows for now because this is the first time they're meeting together, and they might be, testing how her performance is. Besides Mike Pence having a fly in his head, I remember her saying this.
This is important. I want to add, Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
Every time she kept on saying that to Vice President Pence.
I'm speaking.
And then the
Do you think
silence.
she has something like that ready to go tonight?
Well, that goes to this thing I was talking about earlier. Women in politics have to fight for their space at the microphone. They have to fight to be listened to. They have to fight to be respected. That's Republican women. That's Democratic women. And don't believe me, the white guy talking to you on the telephone. I've just interviewed so many women in politics who tell me this. And I've done a fair amount of studying this because, hello, my wife has a PhD in political science. We have a conversation about this with some regularity. It's a thing. It's not make-believe. Women have to fight for respectability and that ability to be heard. And to say, wait a minute, I have the microphone, I am speaking, it is my turn. Men have a tendency to believe it is always their turn in politics because for most of our history, it has been. That process is changing, and those women who are involved in changing that process still have to fight to be heard.
Major Garrett, the best in the business, CBS's chief Washington correspondent. Thank you for making some time for us, Major.
Enjoy the evening.
We will. It is 3:56 at WTMJ.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
Milwaukee Area Technical College proposes expanding its Walker Square Education Center. The two proposed projects would remodel 7,400 square feet of the building and cost an estimated $2.18 million. A new Marco's Pizza could open soon on Milwaukee's northwest side. An occupancy permit filed with the city indicates a Marco's Pizza location is planned at 7335 West Good Hope Road. The Milwaukee Repertory Theater reaches its $78 million capital campaign goal. Funds will go towards renovations of the theater company's downtown Milwaukee facility. I'm Logan Hansen with MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on News Radio WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
This report is sponsored by Connect Chiropractic, connecting you to true health. Located in Wauwatosa and Delafield.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. Add a chiropractic screening to your kid's back-to-school checklist. Reed came to Connect Chiro at just 9 years old. Sleep issues, headaches, getting sick all the time. I talked with his mom. He's now getting better sleep, better attendance at school, better health since she put her son in the care of Dr. Alex Young and his team. Great for kids because these docs use a special tool for all the adjustments. No twisting, no cracking, no popping. In Delafield and Wauwatosa, go Connect Chiro. That's goconnectchiro.com.
Time is running out on the Brewers regular season. Hurry up and catch the crew battle the Diamondbacks September 20th through the 22nd for College Night and a Brewers Puffy Vest giveaway on the 21st. Get your seats now at brewers.com/tickets.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Hey, enjoy a free dinner tonight in an up-north supper club atmosphere at the Fox and Hounds, voted the best supper club in the area. The best. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I know I'm going to the Fox and Hounds coming up in a few days, actually. Just made a reservation. For over 90 years, the Fox and Hounds has been making wonderful memories in their historic rustic timber building. It's gorgeous. Outside the building, there's a super special place. It's the patio in the woods. Enjoy a cocktail, a beer, a glass of wine before you even go into dinner. Then once you're inside, you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free. Free, free, no coupons, no gimmicks. It's that simple. You buy one dinner, you get a second dinner free. That includes the steaks, the ribs, the seafood, the signature steak and lobster, the prime rib on Wednesdays and Saturdays. That's right. Buy one dinner, get one free. Desserts and ice cream drinks. My favorite part of the meal is also buy one, get one free. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the famous Holy Hill Shrine. It's a beautiful part of our state, and they've got beautiful value. Brighten up your Tuesday with a free dinner tonight. Tables are open, foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
The next time you're due for service, visit richlands.com to schedule an appointment at any of our 5 conveniently located facilities.
All AAA approved and all staffed by ASE certified technicians ready to serve you.
Richlands.
Get your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval to buy at accunet.com.
Flanners Home Entertainment, Flanners.com. Just press play.
Upgrade your entertainment setup today. For the best in audio and video for your home, indoors and outdoors, Flanners Home Entertainment delivers sound advice at the best price. Flanners, just press play.
Your hometown hub for everything that matters. The latest news, traffic, weather, and sports on Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 4:01. I'm John Mercure, your top story, presenting their platforms to the nation.
I'm Julia Fellow. Could guardianship records be made public?
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Westbound 94 slowing down out of the Marquette interchange all the way to about Mitchell Boulevard. We do have a crash there, and it is off on the right shoulder, so watch for the delays. Northbound 43 backing up out of the Marquette up past Fond du Lac Avenue. We've got southbound slowing down from just before Hampton down to Capitol Drive. And southbound 41, a little bit heavy from Appleton all the way down past Capitol, almost to Burleigh. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight, partly cloudy, low of 61. Tomorrow, sunny, hazy, warm, a high of 86. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump prepare to square off today in their first presidential debate in Philadelphia. News Nation's Mike Vaquera has more on what we can expect.
The Harris campaign is taking steps to prepare everybody for the attacks that they do expect from Joe Biden, particularly her record as a prosecutor in California, a federal prosecutor, and her record in terms of the fentanyl crisis, and extending that to her record as a vice president, trying to, as you alluded to, hang a lot of the unpopular Biden policies, particularly the border, the so-called border czar, we're going to hear a lot of that phrase tonight, on Kamala Harris, the policies of President Biden.
Harris and Trump will take the stage for the ABC News debate at 8 o'clock tonight.
Should guardianship records be made public? The Wisconsin Supreme Court heard that case today and argued that the number of ineligible voters does not match the counts on the Wisconsin voter registration list. The Wisconsin Voters Alliance filed a lawsuit in 13 counties in 2022 for access to guardianship records to check. A state appeals court last year ordered that Walworth County release the records with birth dates and case numbers redacted. The county appealed, saying that only those with the personal and identifiable need for the records should have access to them. The court is unlikely to issue a ruling before the November election.
9 felony charges have been filed against 35-year-old Keith Jeter of Milwaukee after he engaged police in a shootout Thursday on the city's northwest side. TMJ4's Mary Jo Ola.
In the complaint, one of the officers credits a shield, a ballistic shield, for saving his life from a string of gunfire. That officer got away with a grazed wound to his hand and contusion to the forehead. Now, in his interview with police, Jeter said he knew he had a warrant, didn't think it was that serious, adding that he works as an unarmed security guard but goes armed so that he gets paid. That's despite knowing he's not allowed to carry a gun.
Jeter could face 60 years in prison if convicted on all charges.
Saving food from landfills and feeding hungry people. That's the motto of Milwaukee's new Food Excess Equitable Distribution, or Feed MKE project. The coordinator talks about how grant funding can benefit organizations interested in composting.
The funds could also make it possible for more local producers and businesses to serve as vendors for bulk pickup or delivery of compost in order to redirect food waste away from landfills and enrich our soil for growing even more healthy and nutritious food for even more Milwaukeeans.
More than $127,000 in grant funding will be available to strengthen the food waste recovery and composting.
Coming up, civilians in space.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 4:04.
This report is sponsored by Diamonds Direct. Your love, their passion.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right, enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit diamondsdirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Hi everyone, Jeff Levering here, and when we moved into our home 10 years ago, we knew the time had come to replace our roof. That came sooner than we thought with the storms during the spring. So we called the pros at Ridgetop Exteriors, and they did more than just live up to their motto, trusted, local, and affordable. Within just a few weeks, we had our new roof picked and completed. Their team treated us just like family, and the customer service was a real home run. Give Ridgetop Exteriors a call and book your appointment today to ensure your project gets completed before the next big storm.
Moving Grave's headquarters to downtown Milwaukee was the right decision for the future of our company. Hi, I'm John Kissinger, President and CEO of Grave, a full-service engineering, planning, and design firm. We wanted to be part of downtown's vibrancy. Our goal was to create a collaborative and innovative work environment that would attract the next generation of talent. I love working downtown, and so do my employees. Experience it for yourself. Go to MilwaukeeDowntown.com.
Don't think twice.
Call Geis. Since 1955, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. Hey, don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget. They'll even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to geisdoors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield featuring hundreds of doors and openers and their custom design room.
Don't think twice. Call Geis.
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 406.
SpaceX has launched its Polaris Dawn mission from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida.
LDCE, message received. We appreciate the kind words. We wouldn't be on this journey without all 14,000 of you back at SpaceX and everyone else cheering us on. We appreciate it, and we're going to get to work now.
The multi-day mission will include the first spacewalk ever by a civilian. The craft is also flying deeper into space than any other manned mission in more than 50 years.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. Brewers begin a 3-game series against the Giants tonight in San Francisco. Coverage begins at 8:10 on WTMJ. The Brewers begin the day with an 8.5-game lead over the Cubs for first place in the division with 19 games to play.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 407.
This report is sponsored by Uline. Visit uline.com today.
Uline is here for the hard workers, for the ones rolling up their sleeves, working round the clock, and getting the job done. You're dedicated to doing what it takes to keep a business growing. Uline is dedicated to helping you make that happen. Working 7 days a week, staying fully stocked and ready to ship any of our 41,000 items the same day. Uline, your shipping and industrial supply specialists. Visit uline.com.
You're not just a job number as a Sidex customer. They've been family-owned since 1988, and they treat you as part of their family. Upgrade and transform your current bathroom space with Sidex Windows Siding and Bath. They have seasoned design consultants with 10 to 30 years of experience. The owner, Joe, is honoring his dad's legacy with top-tier products and expert craftsmanship. It's Sidex, the best in the business. Get a free shower door upgrade when you mention WTMJ. Visit sidexremodel.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, John McCure and Julia Fellow.
Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a good day. It's debate night.
Beautiful day, too.
Yeah. Students at Wisconsin schools are back in the classroom now, and in some schools are finding a different situation when it comes to what to do with their cell phones. This is a debate that's been ignited for years, and it's being reignited in places like Grafton, Muckwonago, and Shorewood. So in 2017, Menominee Falls became one of the first high schools in the area to implement school-wide rules about cell phone use, saying they could only be used during passing time, at lunch, and in study hall. In 2023, just last year, in West Allis, West Milwaukee, that district said they wanted to try to stop fights, so they banned cell phones at its intermediate and high schools during the school day. Then it was adjusted to allow students to use their phones in the cafeteria, so they're only allowed their phones in West Allis,
so
West
fighting
Milwaukee
on
at
their
lunch.
phones? It's not just, adults on Facebook fighting with each other.
Right. They were
comments.
like a fight broke out a couple times, and people then were texting other kids. Like, outside room 134, it's going down.
Oh, man.
And so they said they were getting rid of them. So Grafton, listen to what they're doing in Grafton, just new this year. Students will have to place their phones in an assigned cell phone caddy near the teacher's desk when they walk in the room. So you leave your phone there. Students will not have access to them during the class period. So this is good for emergencies because people say, I want my kid to have their phone in case there's an active shooter or in case there's a weather emergency. So in Grafton, they're saying you leave your phone at the front of the room. So then if there is a crazy incident, the kids can, in theory, go up and get their phone out of the caddy at the front and they can use it. Hamilton School District allows students to use their devices before and after school, during passing time and lunch. The most restrictive policy is in Muckwonago. The Muckwonago School Board just approved changes to their cell phone policy. The change prohibits students from using their phones at school during the school day at all. Students must turn their devices off and store them in a vehicle backpack or other location that keeps the device out of sight in the school environment. No phones allowed. MPS bans phone usage during the school day, unless it's for an education-related activity.
Have you heard of geofencing before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So around a school or around a certain area, they can stop the cell phone use?
They can stop it from being used. I say there's no need for cell phones in school. There is no need. And I know people are going to say, what about if there's an active shooter? There's almost never an active shooter. And if you're in a school, okay, we can all stipulate to, if your kid's in a school with an active shooter, that is horrendous, that is terrible, but it almost never happens. The bad that happens from cell phones so far outweighs the good. And then you take your phone to school, you leave it in the backpack, you leave it in your locker. So then if you need to get in touch with mom and dad to pick you up from practice or something like that, you can have access to your phone. I actually kind of like what they're doing in Grafton. You put your phone in the caddy at the teacher's desk.
I could see trouble with that. Like a kid stealing one of the phones and causing trouble. I don't know.
I guess I'm going to go back to what I said initially. You don't need a phone in school. You just don't need a phone in school. And I know school's different than it used to be, and I'm not trying to sound like the old grumpy guy, get off my lawn, but why do you need a phone in school?
I was saying in the morning meeting, I would probably be a total goofball if I had that type of technology in my hand with my friends. I wouldn't stop.
Texter raises a good point. Smartwatches are now an issue in schools.
Really?
People are answering phone calls and making texts on smartwatches.
There you go.
So if you get rid of the phone, you got to get rid of the watch.
So what if you turn the phone off? Can the watch still work?
Or what if the phone's not near the watch? Good question. What if you make them lock their cell phones in their school lockers, but they're still wearing their watch? Does the watch still work? I don't know enough about this to know.
You have it every day.
Well, I know. I have a smartwatch, but the guy using it's a dummy, so I really don't know all the things it can do.
That's cool.
I have this fancy watch. You know what I use it for? To tell what time it is.
You get text messages and stuff.
I do, and I use it for running. I like the running app on the watch, which is really nice, but just kids have enough issue focusing and concentrating and learning and interacting and having friends and talking to people. Let's let that be the rule instead of the phone. Just lock the phones up. Get them out of there. It is 4:13 at WTMJ. Green and Gold Insiders, our first segment of the year with our friend Homer from ESPN Milwaukee. That's after traffic and weather. Up next on WTMJ.
The biggest names in the basketball world.
Dame Dollar Lillard.
Having fun and honest conversations.
He puts it in the shoe, right? And sets the tone for brothers and sisters and family.
Every week, Thanasis Adetokounmpo sits down with special guests on Thanalysis Show. Presented by Carbless Ready-to-Drink Cocktails.
Fantastic.
Find Thanalysis Show on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. And on YouTube by searching Thanalysis Show.
Hey, the baseball season in Milwaukee has been a welcome surprise. A new manager, some important pieces went elsewhere, and yet they've had an outstanding season. Man, it's been fun, hasn't it? Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin always finishes first in the window and door leagues. They'd have a 37-game lead in the division if all the window and door companies were in a division. Pella manufactures all their own products. The glass they use is even from Wisconsin. Each of those products gets tested thousands of times to ensure it stands the test of time. I've seen the quality craftsmanship. I know the innovative design built into every Pella product for timeless beauty and performance. Pella windows and doors are best in class, endless styles, and all those features. And now for something that's almost hard to believe. Get as low as $18 per window, $81 per patio door per month. That's what you pay. $18 per window, $81 per patio door per month. Shut the Pella front door. That's ridiculous. The deal lasts until the end of the month. Visit PellaWI.com today. PellaWI.com. Best products, best installers. Gina Della knows what she's doing. It's PellaWI.com.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, you can always find the best brands at the best prices. But for a limited time only, we're offering our lowest prices of the year throughout the store. Like $5 off Purple Power Aluminum Brightener, just $8.99 a gallon. 20% off men's Ariat Rebar Wedge Boots, now $135.99. And get $150 off a Forney Easy Weld Stick Machine. Save an extra $40 by manufacturer rebate. Don't miss your chance to get our lowest prices of the year, only at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Traffic is sponsored by Annex Wealth Management. It's time to know the difference, and Annex Wealth Management is ready to help with investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning as a fee-only fiduciary partner. AnnexWealth.com. Click the Get Started button.
Traffic and weather begins with Debbie Lazaga. How's that ride rolling, Deb?
Well, it's going to be a bit slow. Westbound 94, right out of the Marquette interchange, all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. There's a crash there off on the right shoulder at Mitchell Boulevard, so heads up with that. We've got also some delays along southbound 43 heading through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge to 4394. Doesn't really let up till you get past the KK River. And off the freeway system on Highway 241, this is basically the extension of 27th Street. Southbound 241 is closed at Elm Road down at the south end of Milwaukee County, all because of a crash. So you cannot go southbound there. So keep that in mind if you're traveling around there. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 61. Tomorrow, sunny, warm, a high of 86. On Thursday, sunny, warm, a high of 84. Friday, high clouds, filtered sunshine, a high of 78. And on Saturday, a slight chance for rain, a high of 77. It's currently 78 degrees. Time for Green and Gold Insiders. Steve the Homer True on ESPN Milwaukee from 5 to 6 is with us this afternoon. Homer, good to see you.
Good to be here. Everybody should be throwing a party.
Why?
Season looked like it might be over. I don't care how anybody watched that play and didn't think he could be done for the year.
You're right.
Which means he could have been done for the year, and he's not. So let's have a party.
4 weeks is looking pretty good right about now.
It'll be less than that.
Yeah.
But either way, imagine if the season was over. It'd be 16 weeks of hell.
It'd be Aaron Rodgers.
That's what the Jets had to go through last year. Would you go to Brazil if ESPN Milwaukee said, Homer, you're going to Brazil for the game? Are you in or out?
I'm out. But when I was younger, I definitely would have gone. But now.
You are young. You're young enough.
No, don't do that. I'm old. I'm old. I know I'm old.
You're not too old to go to Brazil?
Yeah, I am. Yes. Yes, I am.
You're not going to go on the beach and
No, I don't have any interest in going to Brazil. I want to watch the game. I don't have the energy to do that. I don't know why. If I wanted to go to Brazil, I would have decided to go to Brazil in the last 60 years.
Okay.
Have I? No.
So, okay, what about the 16 games that they're thinking about having overseas?
Yeah, they say they want 16 international games, so that means the Packers will go almost every year if Goodell has his way. What's the furthest you would go for a game?
Okay.
Green Bay.
What? Come on.
We do have the Thunder Trio up there.
But you're asking the wrong person. I mean, I understand. When I was younger, I wanted to go to all the games, and then it was fun to go to the games. You have more energy. Now, it's no different. I'm going to sleep in Brazil or I'm going to sleep in L.A. What fun is that?
How do you watch the game? How does a guy like you, as a sports talk show, watch the game? Do you watch it at home on your sofa, by yourself? What do you do?
I always watch the game, but listen to the radio because sometimes it's ahead. So I like to know ahead of time, and then I can go in because it's a 3-ring circus: radio, TV, and Twitter.
Yep.
Because I am not constantly, but periodically going on Twitter because I think something happens, and I like to check if somebody has something there. So
people are so quick with the memes. They're so quick.
Are. How do they make
Twitter.
that stuff so fast? All right, so aside from the Jordan Love injury,
there's nothing else matters.
Well,
I mean, we have time to fill, but nothing else matters.
Okay, so you think that he'll be back for the Lions game on November 3rd?
I think he'll miss 2, maybe 3. But the point is, there's a season.
Yes.
He's going to be healthy, and anybody who watched that, when you saw the knee kind of snap, whatever.
Totally.
Yeah, I don't know what
people
that
said they
is.
heard a pop.
A pop, and I saw a pop. I didn't just hear the. I didn't hear the pop. I saw the pop. Yeah. So whatever you ask, I'm going to be happy. Because the guy who's playing now isn't very good.
Brazil.
I mean, I would say he stinks, but that's
it couldn't even make
nice.
Tennessee's team.
He's not very good.
They're one of the worst teams in the league.
I'll be happy to win any game that he's the quarterback.
I want to ask you, and this had nothing to do with Jordan Love's injury, but the turf. The turf was terrible. It's coming up in chunks. It seems like hypocrisy on the part of the NFL. They talk about safety all the time, but they're putting their guys out, especially in these international games, on substandard fields. The turf's flying up. Guys are complaining. They spend the whole first half changing out shoes. Do they need to solve this before they expand?
I mean, yes, but they clearly don't think it's that important. I mean, I don't know. It's slippery. Do players get hurt when they slip? I don't know. Not necessarily. They just slip. It's just bad football. But they've already accepted bad football because you have no preseason, and your team's going to stink the first couple of weeks. This is basically preseason football, and so the quality isn't going to be very good. But it doesn't seem like it's that difficult to take care of. but clearly it is. But in defense of the NFL, the game is much safer. I mean, go back and watch highlights on the NFL films. They just destroyed people.
Yeah.
And maybe, I don't know what was different then. Maybe the equipment was better. You know, they don't even wear shoulder pads anymore. They basically don't even wear equipment.
Barely.
There's no pads. There's no shoulder pads. Now, they've made the helmets better because obviously that, but the damage that they do to the, like, it's like they're wearing shorts. It's like flag football equipment, right? Remember, there used to be pads in front of the legs.
Yes. And they were big. Those shoulder pads were big.
Shoulder pads were big.
Yeah.
Now,
J.J. Watt was asked about that, about the helmets, if he would wear it. He said absolutely not. He wouldn't.
About the extra cushioned helmet? He said he would not wear those?
He wouldn't.
Did he explain why?
No.
Are players softer today?
No. The game is so much faster.
Yep.
No, you got to be crazy to play football. You had to be crazy when we were growing up. Now you be crazy now. Look at all the injuries these players have that they deal with the rest of their life. The benefit now is they make so much money. I think the ones, many that should, can retire now. So, no, it's safer now than it's ever been by fivefold. I mean, they still can't figure some things out. The kickoff is goofy.
I don't get the kickoff.
They
so
don't
the guys
either.
are not allowed to move until the ball hits the end zone or someone catches it?
No, you just kick the ball in the end zone, and then they take it at the 30.
And then like once in the game, a guy decided to run it out.
They had 2 kickoff returns last week, which is surprising. But basically, I've said, yeah, I would just kick it in the end zone every time. None of my players get hurt. Nothing happens. The ball on average goes to the 28. I think they're going to change it to the 35 or 40. At some point, they have to make teams believe that they're better off to kick it and let the team run it back. But now, it's easy. Just kick it in the end. I mean,
every time I would just kick it in the end zone.
Yes, they get them.
Why wouldn't you?
I get it. They get it at the 35, but nobody on my team gets hurt. Not that it's, I don't know what the percentage is of a return, but I have none. And the average, as I said, was like you get it at the 28, so I'm giving up 2 yards. But they'll change it. I think they'll go 35. I would probably go, if I really wanted the kickoffs, I'd go to the 40 if it goes in the end zone. Then nobody's kicking it in the end zone.
All right, last year during our first session together, we asked you to predict the Packers' outcome, and then you decided to change it all year long. But now you know what happened week 1. Give us a prediction. What's your number?
10-7, and they still make the playoffs.
Okay. 10-7.
Can I change every week like I did
last year?
No.
It's your segment when you're on here. You can do what you want. Right now, as we sit here, 10-7, and they make the playoffs.
And I'm counting him to miss a couple games. Be 3. Like Brian Bulaga said, his knowledge of the injury is such that he wouldn't rule out 100% that he isn't playing this week. He says it's a long shot, but the nature of the injury, the way they've described it, and the former players usually know injuries pretty well. They've dealt with them. He said, as long as you can. He said he's not thinking he'll play,
but he could.
But it's not reckless to think he could.
Okay. Steve the Homer True, ESPN Milwaukee.
So are you happy now?
6.
Are you happy now?
I'm happy. I am. With you. Let's have a party.
Yes, let's have a party.
Actually.
There's a season.
I feel better. Thanks, Homer.
Yep.
It's 424 at WTMJ. Time for the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed day. The NASDAQ was up 141 points. The S&P was up 24 points. The Dow was off 93 points on the day. Get an honest opinion of where you are financially and where you're headed. Work with a fee-only fiduciary. Start at annexwealth.com.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 128-ounce selected varieties Blue Ribbon Pails, $4.99 with coupon. 3 to 6 count selected varieties M&M, Snickers, Dove, or Twix Novelties, $3.99. 4 count selected varieties Dannon Multi-Pack Yogurt, 2 for $8. 64-ounce selected varieties Old Orchard Juice, 2 for $5.
I am starving.
Oh, no. Never walk into a Century when you're hungry.
Unless it's free sample day. Ooh, pizza, yes. I'd love to try that one.
My husband thinks he can make a meal out of grocery store samples.
Need to wash this down. I think I see someone handing out samples in the liquor department.
Geez, can we focus on our list?
What's this?
It says you can win 2 tickets to Green Bay's home game against San Francisco November 24th.
Or autographed footballs, or a 4-pack of Green Bay Hall of Fame tickets.
You have to enter through Century's Facebook or Instagram.
I'll be entering this on my phone in the deli next to that cheese sample station.
I'm shopping at Century alone next time.
Enter by November 6th.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan. to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever, overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for President.
Any exterior remodeling company can give you a lot of good reasons to get a new roof, siding, windows and doors, or masonry work. Aesthetic appeal alone or just resale value help it all make sense. But I'm compelled to continue to tell you what sets Semper Fi apart from the rest. What you're going to get from Semper Fi is a reputation that is backed by an undeniable stack of proof that we are who we say we are. Our character is guided by a level of trust and accountability which not only holds our teams together, but also keeps our reputation intact. And ultimately, that means leaving you satisfied. So when you're about to make that big investment in your home, isn't that what you want? This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
It's time for a Wisconsin Farmers Union Minute. Dairy farmers in Wisconsin and across the nation have experienced boom and bust price cycles for decades, triggered by an imbalance between supply and demand. When milk prices are high, farmers increase production to meet the demand. However, when prices are low, dairy farmers also increase production to help their bottom line, unintentionally flooding the market and driving prices down further. The wild price swings that result make it difficult to manage a business. But there is a better way. The Dairy Revitalization Plan is a growth management strategy that coordinates milk production growth among all dairy producers to stabilize and improve prices for everyone. Unlike quota, which is often viewed as overly restrictive, growth management offers a series of incentives and disincentives to better align milk production growth with demand growth. The Dairy Together coalition of farmers, farm groups, and dairy industry stakeholders is pushing this plan to be included in the upcoming Farm Bill. By implementing the Dairy Revitalization Plan, we can ensure that Wisconsin remains America's dairy land for generations to come. Learn more at dairytogether.com.
These are powerful, FDA-approved pharmacological pain treatments precisely administered by an easy injection to the root source of your pain. Positive patient outcomes are over 91%. And we do this conveniently. The entire process is performed in office, so it's very easy for our patients.
Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, with the help of some of the finest pain relief physicians in the country, have helped bring their proprietary pain treatment formula to the forefront of pain relief medicine. Having performed over 100,000 pain treatments and counting, patient results have shown again and again that pain relief is possible in shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees, with some patients' pain relief lasting more than 2 years.
We're in network with almost all major insurance plans, including Medicare and Medicaid, and this could mean zero out-of-pocket costs for your pain relief treatment.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 4:30. I'm John Mercure. Your top story: felony charges for the Milwaukee man who shot at police.
I'm Julia Fellow. A long road to recovery after spending 12 hours in a ditch.
I'm Debbie Lazaga, and we had an issue on westbound 94 at Mitchell Boulevard. There was an accident there. They were able to clear that one away. Now we've got another one off the freeway system. It's on Highway 100 southbound at Wisconsin Avenue. 2 right lanes are blocked on the southbound side of Highway 100. Give yourself tons of extra time or avoid that intersection. We also have another issue off the freeway. Highway 241 southbound is closed at Elm Road. This is the extension of 27th Street. Right at Elm Road, there was a crash there. So southbound is closed right now. You can't get past that, so try and avoid that area as well. And be eyes on the roads. Report accidents, slowdowns, and road conditions to the WTMJ Hall Volkswagen traffic tip line at 414-238-9329. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight will be partly cloudy. Isolated showers are possible, low of 61. Tomorrow, hazy and warm, a high of 86 degrees. The current temperature in Milwaukee is 79 degrees.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, 9 felony charges have been filed against 35-year-old Keith Jeter of Milwaukee after he engaged police in a shootout Thursday on the city's northwest side. TMJ4's Mary Jo Ola.
In the complaint, one of the officers credits a shield, a ballistic shield, for saving his life from a string of gunfire. That officer got away with a grazed wound to his hand and contusion to the forehead. Now, in his interview with police, Jeter said he knew he had a warrant, didn't think it was that serious, adding that he works as an unarmed security guard but goes armed so that he gets paid. That's despite knowing he's not allowed to carry a gun.
Jeter could face 60 years in prison if convicted on all charges.
An update on a manhunt for a murder suspect in Kenosha. 25-year-old Lawrence Franklin Jr. has been charged with 7 felonies, including first-degree murder in the deaths of 22-year-old Amaya Prather and her unborn baby girl. He remains at large, considered armed and dangerous. Lawrence was last seen leaving a house Friday night near 40th Street and 11th Avenue in Kenosha. Police are also looking for individuals that helped him after the alleged homicide.
A 20-year-old Waukesha County man faces a long recovery after he spent more than 12 hours in a ditch following a motorcycle crash.
Alex Giemsa lost control of his motorcycle and crashed on I-43 near Sunny Slope Road.
He remembers hearing rush hour traffic, and he remembers nobody stopping.
Giemsa's sister, Kelly, tells TMJ4 News he was in the ditch for more than 12 hours before someone noticed the wreckage.
I'm happy that he's alive and somebody stopped and saw him and did that because sorry.
Now comes the long road to recovery.
He still doesn't have feeling from the waist down because he hurt his spine.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Search and recovery efforts underway right now at Lake Michigan near Pleasant Prairie for a missing diver. Happened near a shipwreck site 6 miles from shore. The U.S. Coast Guard received notification from a vessel on the lake that a scuba diver had not yet returned to the surface at about 11:30 this morning, was in need of assistance. It's estimated the water depth right there is at 100 feet deep.
Funding to end food waste. The new Food Excess Equitable Distribution, or FEED MKE project, aims to reduce food waste and redistribute food to the hungry. Food waste coordinator for the Milwaukee Environmental Collaboration Office, Andy Shaka, outlines what the over $127,000 in mini grants can be used for.
We're looking to help people recover more food before it becomes waste, to share surplus meals with hungry people. Or these funds could support collaborations with a local farm, gardener, gleaner, or grower to help them get fresh food from the field to those in need, preventing food waste at the very beginning of the distribution cycle.
Projects would launch by January 2025.
A documentary about the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers will debut at Marcus Theaters Friday.
We all think we know the story of 82, but we don't know the story behind the story of 82.
Brookfield's Sean Hannes produced the film along with friend and fellow Wisconsinite Kelly Call.
The story seems to work whether you are really familiar with what happened or you don't know the players or the team at all. You couldn't write this stuff. You really couldn't.
From Paul Molitor and Robin Yount to Bud Selig and Bob Euchre, no stone was left unturned.
We had about 100 hours of archival along with 45 hours of interviews. They pulled stuff that I don't think people have seen before.
Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
After years of debate and discussion, the adoption of the people's flag as the new city flag in Milwaukee is one step closer to reality.
At this point, I've become more agnostic because I'm tired of talking about this.
After similar concerns raised by other members of the Milwaukee Steering and Rules Committee, ultimately the body gave the go-ahead Monday on a resolution to adopt the people's flag as the official flag of Milwaukee.
Motion passes 5-3.
Now the future of the resolution lies with the full council. Alderman Peter Bergelis says when the Common Council votes on the matter this fall, it should consider what the city flag represents.
A flag is a symbol of us moving forward.
Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
The resolution must pass the entire Common Council by a simple majority in order to go to Mayor Cavalier Johnson for approval.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Packers not expected to put quarterback Jordan Love on injured reserve after suffering a knee injury against the Eagles. Malik Willis will start for the Packers if Love is not cleared. And Brew Crew begin a 3-game series with the Giants tonight in San Francisco. Coverage begins right here at 8:10 on WTMJ.
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 4:35.
This report sponsored by Mr. Holland's Heating and Air Conditioning. Visit MrHollandsHeatingandAir.com.
If the first thing on your to-do list is to start a to-do list, if the snooze button has fallen off your alarm clock, or if your favorite day is tomorrow, you're a procrastinator. And your friends at Mr. Holland's Home Services remind you that cold weather is fast approaching. Is your furnace ready for frigid days and frosty nights? Yes, we know you're not thinking about winter when it's still on the warm side. But let's face it, planning ahead isn't one of your superpowers. So just take a quick minute to call Mr. Holland's and secure a brand new, high-efficiency heating and cooling system today. You may even qualify for payments as low as $69 a month with approved credit. You'll be set for winter. And you'll finally have time to read that book on how to stop procrastinating that you bought in 2016. 866-992-1717. Or visit MrHollandsHomeservices.com. Tired of being put off by the cold? We can help.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
An emotional day at the Capitol, the U.S. Capitol today. Congress awarded 13 service members killed during the Afghanistan withdrawal a very high honor. Em Nguyen, ABC News correspondent, is with us from Washington. Em, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good to be here. High honor indeed. It's actually the highest honor that can be bestowed upon someone from Congress. And the Gold Star families accepted a Congressional Gold Medal today on behalf of their loved ones. As you know, probably this was a very solemn ceremony in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda honoring the 13 service members killed at Abbey Gate in Kabul, Afghanistan 3 years ago. Many of the family members quietly wept, wiping away their tears. One family member spoke for the rest of them, saying, quote, "To the American people, remember the 13.
So this has been politicized. It's part of the campaign for the presidency. But Democrats and Republicans were there today, right? Can you paint the picture? Was all of leadership there from both parties? Who was in attendance?
Right. So it was a very rare bipartisan moment. There were heartfelt speeches from both sides of the aisle. The top 4 congressional leaders were standing side by side to honor the victims. Remember, even another 168 Afghans were also killed in the suicide bombing during the withdrawal of Afghanistan. So this was a tremendous loss. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer underscored the appreciation from Congress. He said, "Nothing we can do can bring them back. But through this award, we swear their memories will live forever." We heard from House Speaker Mike Johnson, who really, assembled this ceremony today, and he apologized to the families. But it also kind of felt, though, like a jab to the Biden administration. He said, quote, "I know many of you have yet to hear these words, so I will say them. We are sorry. The United States government should have done everything to protect our troops." So although he is apologizing, although it seems like a very somber moment in terms of this moment for the families, it also sounds like it's quite the jab to the Biden administration. We know this comes a couple of days after the House Foreign Affairs Committee released an investigative report examining the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan. And Republicans throughout this report did blame President Biden, claiming there were several problems, of course, but that particularly in terms of the bombing that happened, they said that there was no plan in place by the Biden administration to save the service members at Abbey Gate.
So this happened 3 years ago last month, August of 2021. Em, can you take us through the 13 U.S. service members who got the Congressional Gold Medal and they all passed away? Can you talk about exactly what happened during that explosion? What were they doing?
Right. So during this time, of course, and it was a very hectic time, there were service members that were still in Afghanistan. Remember, this also comes after February of 2020. I want to just mention that really quickly, which is when the Trump administration had signed what's called the Doha Agreement, and essentially that committed the U.S. to leave Afghanistan by May 1st of 2021, the Taliban to refrain from attacking the U.S. At that time, President Trump then had accelerated the U.S. troop production down to 2,500. So when the Biden administration was coming into this to try to continue the withdrawal from Afghanistan, Democrats are saying essentially that the Trump administration prevented a proper transition to the Biden administration. There were fewer troops there to help with the withdrawal. And so essentially what was happening here was that there was only one the Kabul's airport. It was the airport in which many were trying to leave Afghanistan. They were trying to get the remaining number of service members as well as others in the embassy, et cetera, out of Afghanistan during this time. That's when there was a suicide bombing that happened just right outside of the airport. There was around 170 Afghans who were killed and 13 U.S. service members, men and women. And so they were killed in this attack. And as you mentioned, it's been quite politicized since then. We have heard it come up multiple times from the Trump campaign, especially after the 3-year mark, which was just about a week ago when the former president went to the Arlington National Cemetery. There was some mix-up there about whether or not he was able to be filming in certain areas. And then it just became quite a big deal under the Trump campaign. And since then, the Biden administration, the State Department, and other parts of the White House have been trying to defend themselves. And it seems to be growing into a bigger issue. And we're likely to hear a little bit more about this tonight during the debate as well.
Has President Biden spoken about this publicly?
Do you mean the incident? The
incident itself and all the criticism he faces.
Yeah, certainly we've heard from the White House, from the president in the years prior, just talking simply about how he is very, I would say, somber towards the incident. He said essentially that, well, what we've heard from the White House is essentially that they are blaming the Trump administration for the agreement that was made under the Trump administration. So essentially they're putting the blame at the feet of the Doha agreement and thus the former president. So that's what we've really heard from the White House. It's not quite taking the responsibility of the deaths of these 13 service members, but certainly we have heard from those family members this week who also are trying to lay that blame on Biden as well. And so we're going to continue to hear this conversation moving forward as well.
ABC's M. Wynn in Washington. M, thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Somber indeed. It is 4:42 at WTMJ. Debbie helps get you home up next.
The National Weather Service has issued a tornado watch.
Go to a place of safety now. A tornado warning is in effect.
The danger in the thunderstorm alone is definitely there. We have wind gusts where it's 50 miles per hour and lots of lightning in the storm system.
Keeping you updated on the weather so you can keep you and your family safe with severe weather coverage on WTMJ. Sponsored by Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
As the old saying goes, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. When it comes to retirement planning, this couldn't be more true. Hi, I'm Aaron Kowal of Kowal Investment Group, the retirement specialists. We understand life is busy and sometimes important things like retirement planning can fall to the wayside. So I'm here to remind you to take time to plan. A 1-hour retirement planning consultation with our fiduciary advisors will help you get started on the path to your dream retirement. We will review your current financial situation, your goals and needs, and help you plan for life's what-ifs. Don't delay planning for your future any longer. Our advisors at Kowal Investment Group are here to help you create a clear path to retirement, execute your plan, and navigate changes throughout retirement to ensure you stay on track. If you're close to or already in retirement and have $750,000 or more in investable assets, give our office a call today at 262-522-4040 or visit thekowalway.com to schedule your no-obligation retirement review.
Kowal Investment Group is a registered investment advisor.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here. It's your knee that's bugging you, right? Or is it your back? For some of us, it's the hips. Achy joints with pain you can't get over. Well, there is a way to fix it. There is a way to get lasting pain relief using your own body's healing properties. It's all thanks to QC Kinetics, advanced regenerative medicine. QC Kinetics can help enhance your joints, improve mobility, and get back to doing all the fun things you like to do without pain. No surgery, no painkillers, and no downtime. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in using cellular therapies. If you want to learn more, the consultations are free. You can set up an appointment at QC Kinetics. They have clinics in Mequon and in Greenfield. Here's the number, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call now and get lasting joint pain relief with the help from QC Kinetics. 414-285-3474.
for love of the game.
But there's nothing like being selected to the Olympic team.
And love of their country.
Championship of that level, gold medal, means more.
Tune into Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Inside stories from Bucks stars on the agony and triumph of competing to win it all at the Olympics. It's Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic is sponsored by Two Men and a Junk Truck. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't.
From removing unwanted clutter or junk to full-service residential or commercial cleanouts, get a free same-day estimate at twomenandajuncktruck.com. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't.
Traffic and weather. Let's get a look outside with Debbie Lazaga.
All right. The accident on 27th Street or 241 near Elm Road, looks like that has been cleared out of the way. Well, they're still saying it's closed, but I got an indication that it was reopened. So just keep an eye on that. If you're going to be heading through that area, it might be a little bit backed up. Other than that, westbound on 94, we are seeing delays out of the Marquette all the way to Hawley Road. Eastbound, heavy from 76th Street through the Stadium interchange to 35th. Highway 100 southbound at Wisconsin Avenue still has those two right lanes closed because of a crash there. And back onto the freeway, southbound on 41, slowing down from just south of Appleton Avenue all the way down past Capitol Drive. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight will be partly cloudy. Isolated showers are possible. Low of 61 tomorrow and Thursday. Hazy and warm, a high of 85 both days. Friday, high clouds, filtered sunshine, a bit humid, high of 78. Saturday, mostly cloudy, a slight rain chance, a high of 77. The current temperature in Milwaukee is 78 degrees.
Time for the Milwaukee Health segment. Dr. John Raymond is off today. We're really excited to have Dr. Bill Hall here. He's a professor in the Department of Radiation Oncology at the Medical College of Wisconsin and the medical director for Froedtert Radiation Oncology. Dr. Hall, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
An important topic. We're going to talk today about prostate cancer. We've all heard the term, but I think a lot of people don't know a lot of the detail. How common is prostate cancer?
Well, prostate cancer is one of the most common cancers in men. It afflicts several 100,000 men per year, and it is one of the most frequently diagnosed cancers, and about 1 in 8 men will be afflicted with prostate cancer in their lifetime.
That's such a big number.
Yeah, and my father-in-law was actually diagnosed with it, and his entire prostate was removed. But we've come a long way, right, with how it's manageable, and you don't have to do that anymore, right?
Correct. So what I always like to encourage men is to talk first to their primary care physicians to hear about screening options, because we've come a long way in detection and management of prostate cancer. It tends to be a little bit of a sensitive topic for guys, but if they have an opportunity to discuss this with their primary care physician first, and then they are diagnosed with prostate cancer, we have incredibly minimally invasive management options that are very successful.
So we talk a lot about colonoscopies, and we talk a lot about the colon, and it's a marketing thing. They've done a really good job marketing all of that sort of stuff. You talk about early detection. What does that entail? What should guys think about?
Yeah, great question. So detection depends largely on the patient, their individual risk factors, including things like their age, their family history, in some cases, genetic tests that can be done. But it's very important to discuss the risks and benefits of screening tests with your primary care physician. There are several different tests that can be done. The most common one is called the PSA, which is a blood test that can be used to screen for prostate cancer in select populations and can be quite useful.
Well, that's good.
Shouldn't we just all do that? Like when I get to be 50 or 60, or you're the expert, you can choose the number. If it's a blood test, why don't we just all do that?
You know, it's a great question. Screening is a very fascinating area of science that we as healthcare professionals and physicians and scientists have to be very careful with when and how we recommend screening. While it sounds very logical that, well, everyone would get the blood test done and it would be really helpful, there are circumstances in screening tests where you can have items called false positives, where a test can be elevated and it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a cancer diagnosis. That test result can just create a tremendous amount of anxiety for patients and their families, and can also lead to unnecessary procedures and biopsies. So there's a lot of scientists and epidemiologists that study who should be screened and how they should be screened. And interestingly, it's a little controversial in some medical circles and specialties who should be screened and when. And this is why it's so important to discuss with a trusted primary care physician or someone that's informed about screening testing.
Has there been a lot of research? Have we come a long way? Like, what's next, maybe, with research?
So the biggest areas of research development in prostate cancer have really come into the treatment and management of prostate cancer. This has been one of the most exciting things to watch over the past 5 to 10 years, because we have come such a far way and are continuing to make incredible progress with very successful, minimally invasive treatments that fortunately have an incredibly high cure rate with relatively low rates of side effects.
Have you seen with AI, have you seen with the radiology test that AI can kind of detect like breast cancer or something like years in advance?
Yeah. So AI is going to transform many industries, and it is definitely transforming medicine. In fact, one of the most exciting areas of research right now is artificial intelligence examining tissue biopsies and understanding aspects of a patient's cancer that predict how aggressive that cancer is going to behave. So we are seeing a ton of
How does it do that?
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So the way it does it is really by taking thousands of slides, high resolution biopsy slides, and then correlating discoveries that it makes on those slides with clinical outcomes of patients. So it's a concept sometimes called machine learning, where these artificial intelligence engines are understanding what features of a biopsy are subsequently related to treatment failure or the cancer spreading throughout the body.
So that's the hope, John, with other diseases as well. It's super interesting. If you collate and you put all of the research into one thing, AI can maybe give you some results of cures or something.
Yeah, very positives of AI.
And some patients approach this with a bit of trepidation or fear, but I look at it as a wonderfully powerful tool, because what we want is a cure. We want an early diagnosis and a minimally invasive cure that's perfectly tailored to patients, and artificial intelligence is the next wave that's going to help us with that.
So you've talked about minimally invasive treatment. What are the treatment strategies? What does minimally invasive mean? What are the options? I know it's a broad question, but what are we talking about here, especially if there's early detection involved?
Yeah. So the first thing I always like to tell patients is they need a team. When they have a diagnosis of cancer, they should not be seen by one physician and be told by one physician, this is your optimal treatment strategy. We, for example, at Fredericton and the Medical College of Wisconsin, always take a team approach, which means that if a patient is diagnosed with prostate cancer, they will see a number of different cancer experts. They'll see a surgeon. They will typically see a medical oncologist, which is a doctor that sometimes prescribes chemotherapy or other sorts of hormonal blocking therapy, which can be helpful for prostate cancer. And they will usually see a radiation oncologist. Seeing a variety of doctors is very important because it gives patients critical perspectives on the different treatment strategies, whether that's a surgical management approach, a radiation-based management approach that may be optimal for them and their particular cancer and urinary function and medical comorbidities.
Boy, I would think that radiation, that part of the body, could have a lot of side effects.
Yeah, it's something that we like to educate patients about, the massive advancements that have taken place in radiation therapy. It is a very frightening thing for patients to hear that they could be exposed to radiation. But the amazing part of radiation today is that it is incredibly focused. We can direct the radiation with millimeter accuracy. There's no cutting involved. There's no anesthesia. And for many guys, it's a very comforting treatment that preserves their internal anatomy. They don't have to have the prostate removed. They can undergo sometimes as few as 5 total treatments. And the cure rates are in many cases over 95%, which is incredible.
That's so good.
That's so encouraging.
Yeah, when my mom had it in 1996, it was like burns, and she had to have a tattoo in a certain spot, and it was all
It's
over.
very helpful to hear those stories from patients and their family members, because I usually like to draw the analogy. If you think about how much your cell phone has changed from 1996 to today, radiation therapy has undergone similar transformations, and it's a totally new treatment strategy.
That's good to know, because there was a patient also in a pharmacy that I was working, and I said, "Oh, why do you have like kind of like a neck brace on? Were you in an accident?" And she was like, "I had cancer near my throat." and it was radiation that caused my neck to weaken. So it's good to hear that, doctor.
Prostate cancer research. You guys do clinical stuff. You do all sorts of stuff. What if patients want to get involved with prostate cancer research?
Yeah, absolutely. So at the Medical College of Wisconsin and Freighter, we are hugely committed to research. Research is the way that we will advance the treatment and cure of prostate cancer and the way that we can help future generations of men be cured from this disease. So we have a number of very exciting studies that are ongoing. The ones that we're currently focusing on right now use some of the genomics of a particular tumor to tailor and personalize systemic therapy for that individual patient's prostate cancer. So we actually use the very individual patient's genomic markers and susceptibilities to understand how can we optimally treat them with systemic therapy and different types of treatment strategies. So there's a number of options that are ongoing. We have a wonderful team, and we encourage second opinions. We encourage patients that are interested in hearing about different treatment strategies to meet with a number of surgeons, urologists, radiation oncologists, and medical oncologists that we have.
For more information, check out mcw.edu. mcw.edu. Dr. Bill Hall is the medical director for Freighter Radiation Oncology. Fascinating discussion, Dr. Hall. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
It is 4:56 at WTMJ. Here's your business headlines.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
A new Marco's Pizza could open soon on Milwaukee's northwest side. An occupancy permit filed with the city indicates a Marco's Pizza location is planned at 7335 West Good Hope Road. The Milwaukee Repertory Theater reaches its $78 million capital campaign goal. Funds will go towards renovations of the theater company's downtown Milwaukee facility. Milwaukee Area Technical College proposes expanding its Walker Square Education Center. The two proposed projects would remodel 7,400 square feet of the building and cost an estimated $2.18 million. I'm Logan Hansen with MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on News Radio WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
This report sponsored by Pella of Wisconsin. Discover Pella now, pay later at PellaWI.com.
Jeff Levering here, asking the question, what does baseball have in common with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Manufacturing. Pella manufactures all their own products. Baseball teams have a similar homegrown strategy by developing its own players in the minors. Testing. Pella tests every product thousands upon thousands of times to ensure it stands the test of time. The ultimate test for baseball players to get called up to the big leagues, hoping to play well enough to stay. Pella is also the window and door equivalent of hitting for the cycle. Quality craftsmanship and innovative design are built into every Pella product for timeless beauty and performance. And now, Gina Della from Pella is here to call the big finale.
Thanks, Jeff. Pella windows and doors are best in class, not only from the endless styles, but for the features you can't see. And now for something you almost can't believe. Get as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door per month. Hurry, the deal lasts only until September 30th, so visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow here for Elmbrook Family Dental. I'm about to go there tomorrow and see Dr. Brunner in their new Wauwatosa office at 880 Mayfair Road. It has an entire TMJ and sleep therapy wing. They have laser technology helping ease my headaches caused by my clenching jaw. It doesn't hurt at all. You can learn more at elmbrookfamilydental.com. That's ELMBROOK familydental.com. You can get everything done in a one-stop shop. 2 convenient locations in Brookfield and their new office in Wauwatosa accepting new patients. Head to elmbrookfamilydental.com.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Injuries happen, but you don't have to play in pain or stay on the sidelines. Whether it's your kids dealing with a sports injury, college athletes, or the rest of us weekend warriors, the experts at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin will quickly diagnose your problem, lay out a treatment plan that works for you, and get you back in the game. They fixed my knee. My mother-in-law is back on the dance floor with a new hip. These are the experts you can trust. Visit orthowisconsin.com.
Time is running out on the Brewers regular season. Hurry up and catch the crew battle the Diamondbacks September 20th through the 22nd for College Night and a Brewers Puffy Vest giveaway on the 21st. Get your seats now at brewers.com/tickets.
Protect mom's assets. Protect your assets. Call Kraus Estate Planning, estateplanningpeople.com.
Traffic is sponsored by Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield. Visit holtebeck.com.
Holtebeck Eye Center in Brookfield is excited to welcome Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist. Learn more at holtebeck.com.
Swing and a miss! Went back to old reliable. San Francisco Bay.
The Brewers are back at the Bay to take on the Giants. Our coverage begins tonight at 8:10. We are your home for the Milwaukee Brewers. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 5:01. I'm John Mercure. Your top story: preparing to face the nation in Philadelphia.
I'm Julia Fellow. The debate over using vans for voting.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. No more accidents up on the board, but we do still have some delays. Southbound on 41 slowing from Good Hope Road all the way down past Capitol Drive. Southbound 43 slowing down from North Avenue down through the Marquette and over the high-rise bridge. Northbound on 43 backed up out of the Marquette up to about just before North Avenue. Westbound 94 a bit heavy from before the Marquette all the way to Hawley Road. Another quick tap of the brakes crossing over the county line. And along eastbound 94 backed up from 84th Street on and off the brakes to 35th. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 61 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny, hazy, warm, a high of 84. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump prepare to square off in their first presidential debate in Philadelphia tonight. News Nation's Kelly Meyer has more on what we can expect.
They are hitting at one another, so Afghanistan could come up, and as well as what's happening in the Middle East, in Gaza, what's happening between Israel and Hamas. Harris obviously has been involved with the decisions in the Biden-Harris administration. Trump could also say and come in, as he has been on the trail, that none of this would ever happen if he was president, is something that he's been saying all along. So all of this is expected to be brought up tonight. It will be interesting because Harris really doesn't have too much foreign policy on her resume.
Harris and Trump will take the stage for the ABC News debate beginning at 8 o'clock. Major Garrett joins us with perspective coming up at 5:45.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court hears arguments on using a mobile voting van for casting absentee ballots. A single van was used in Racine for the 2022 election there, traveling across the city for 2 weeks prior to that election. That happened in August of 2022. The Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty then filed a complaint the day after that primary, arguing that using the van is against the law. Whatever the court decides, it will not affect the November election.
Milwaukee police are investigating an alleged sexual assault at Milwaukee Area Technical College's downtown campus. The alleged assault occurred Thursday afternoon in a student center bathroom. The suspect and the victim are students at the school. Police have identified a person of interest but have no one in custody. Campus police are conducting additional patrols as a precaution.
For the first time in nearly 60 years, new Catholic schools are being planned in the city of Milwaukee. A $23 million investments at two new locations for St. Raphael and Prince of Peace schools on the south side. They expect to hold about 500 students from kindergarten through 8th grade. Archbishop Jerome Listecki.
When you're talking about individuals who are economically challenged or individuals who find neighborhoods that are somewhat depressed, that literally it's education that allows an avenue for individual students to progress in their lives.
The schools are set to open in 2026.
The flag flying at Milwaukee City Hall is one step closer to changing after a resolution to adopt the people's flag as the official flag of the city was passed yesterday.
Motion passes 5-3. But the passage of the people's flag resolution by the Steering and Rules Committee was not without some dissent. Multiple Common Council members have argued for years and continued Monday that the flag's selection process was not inclusive enough. Some, like Alderman Bob Bauman, are simply tired of debating the issue.
At this point, I become more agnostic because I'm tired of talking about this.
A point echoed by Alderman Scott Spiker.
The idea we're going to restart this, think about what your next year of your life is going to be.
The resolution will now go before the full council for passage this fall. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Coming up, a fender bender between two airplanes.
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 5:05.
This report is sponsored by Diamonds Direct.
Your love, their passion.
This September, Diamonds Direct's ultimate offer is back, stronger than ever. Diamonds Direct helps you get the perfect jewelry gift with 0% interest. That's right, enjoy 5 years of 0% financing on any Diamonds Direct purchase. It's your chance to get her the perfect ring with 0 interest and comfortable monthly payments that fit your budget. But act fast. This offer ends September 30th. For details and more, visit DiamondsDirect.com. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest on approved credit. Only at Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
When you need to sell quickly, choose Grandview to buy your home. Don't worry about real estate agents or showings. We'll buy your home as is, no repairs or cleanouts needed, and you'll get an offer in hours. Visit GrandviewHomes.com for your fair cash offer today.
Now your ideas do not have to wait. Dell Technologies and Intel are pushing what technology can do. Bring your ideas to life at Dell.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik here for Flanner's Home Entertainment. Does the audio and video system in your home need an upgrade? Well, Flanner's has all the solutions and the installation experts to simplify and upgrade your home entertainment experience. Forget about the impersonable big box stores and risky online purchases. You go with locally owned Flanner's, where quality service, the best brands, and guaranteed best price remain top priorities. Stop by Flanner's in West Dallas, Grafton, or at Flanners.com. Sound advice at the best price. Just press play.
Buying a home should be a joy, but could you imagine doing this without a realtor? Paperwork, inspections, appraisals, deadlines, showings, market research? Or you could relax. Or understanding legal documents, negotiating offers, coordinating inspections, securing finance. Oh, sorry. A realtor can take the stress out of the home buying process. See how at wra.org/a-realtor-can. Brought to you by the Wisconsin Realtors Association.
Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Citing Unlimited WTMJ News Time 5:07.
2 planes made contact this morning at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport in Atlanta. CBS Chris Van Cleve reports.
The A350 is the biggest airplane in Delta's fleet. It's a bit like a semi-truck and a small sedan coming together for a fender bender. The small sedan is going to take it on the chin a lot harder than the big airplane. And in this case, the wing, it appears the wingtip of the A350 essentially severed what we would know as the tail or the stabilizer on the back of the plane.
The FAA and National Transportation Safety Board will investigate this collision.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Brewers begin the day with an 8.5-game lead over the Cubs for first place in the division. 19 games left to play, and the Brewers begin a 3-game series with the Giants tonight in San Francisco. Coverage begins at 8:10 on WTMJ.
Citing Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 5:08.
This report is sponsored by Fox World Travel. Visit foxworldtravel.com today for more information.
No matter what your timeline is, you deserve a journey to paradise with Fox World Travel and Royal Caribbean. When you get the craving for sunshine, poolside fun, and ocean views for miles, there's no reason to hold back. Make the most out of your time with an all-in-one cruise vacation. Let a Fox World Travel cruise expert save you from the daunting task of choosing from ships, ports, and staterooms. And visit foxworldtravel.com to plan your next cruise vacation. That's foxworldtravel.com.
Whoa, man, does my house look fantastic because CertaPro painters did the outside of it. Top tier, best craftsmanship, best choices. It's CertaPro with a C. It's that easy. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. CertaPro with a C. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned, operated right here. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy, choose CertaPro painters. We did. They do the outside, they do the inside, they always do it right. It's CertaPro with a C.
Engagement rings, wedding bands, and big anniversary diamonds.
Welcome to Kessler's.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, John McCure and Julia Fellow.
I'm not sure if Christian's going to make it over here.
Uh-oh, that's a play-by-play announcer at a lobster roll eating contest in New Hampshire, making light of a man struggling to finish a bite.
Uh-oh.
That man's name is Christian Moreno, but in reality, Christian was actually fighting for his life, and no one's doing anything about it. So I wanted to share this story with you. There was a man holding up the number of rolls right next to him, eating next to him, and nobody noticed. But one man did step in. WMUR's Marissa Tansino interviewed that hero.
I'm not sure if Christian's going to make it over here.
The gentleman at the far end, who I was kind of watching, I glanced over. I could tell very quickly he took a pause. He was having trouble getting something down. I started saying, he's joking, and I could tell people weren't responding. So I just moved forward and immediately started to kind of give him the Heimlich.
So he saved him, and that was the governor of New Hampshire.
What?
Yeah, Chris.
That's the guy who did the Heimlich?
Chris Sununu, who happened to be at the Hampton Beach Seafood Festival, shaking hands when this all went down.
So he sees the guy struggling, and he jumps up and gives him the Heimlich?
Mm-hmm. And
wow.
You can see in the video, like they're like, hey, he's like trying to get everybody's attention. They're like, oh, the roll popped right out, and this is what happened next.
He went right back to the contest, which I couldn't believe. He ate another 7 lobster rolls after that, right down the gullet.
Oh, my gosh. I would be so terrified. I wouldn't be eating anything.
Me too, John.
And he just started chowing down again?
You know what you probably should have done? He probably, how Joey Chestnut, dips it in water?
Yes, dips the bun in the water.
Yeah, having all those biscuits with no water.
Oh, wait, okay. So it was like the lobster roll on a biscuit?
Yeah, little biscuits.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so Christian Marino was saved. He was wearing a squirrel hat and a lobster roll 24 t-shirt, and he felt the show must go on.
Kind of like, all right, don't freak out. You're going to finish this. You're going to get this out, and you're going to keep going.
I'd be like, I'm done.
No way. I'd be sitting down asking for an old-fashioned.
He did, yes. He didn't know that the governor was who saved him until he put his spectacles back on.
My counter came up to me and made a joke and was like, I bet nobody else can say that they've gotten a Heimlich from the governor before. And I looked at him and was just like, that was the governor?
Yeah, so he posted on Facebook, quote, Joey Chestnut, I let you down, but he says he will be back for his redemption and come back next year for the lobster roll eating contest. He lost. Do you know how to give the Heimlich?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. How?
All right, so we need to make a fist with one hand and grab it with the other.
All right.
Place your hand just above the belly button and below the rib cage, right in there. Pull inward and upward.
I can feel where that is.
So basically, you're pulling on the diaphragm to force the air out of the lungs to expel the blockage. You should do that about 5 times, rest, 5 times, rest.
Can you give yourself the Heimlich? Or does it not work that way?
When I was Googling that, it was showing... Well, the first time when I Googled it, I said, how do you give Heimlich? And it says to a dog. So people care more about dogs than humans in the Google search.
Well, that sounds about right.
But yes, you can do that. And it's just like the end of the back of a chair. And you can just.
Okay. That is terrifying.
Force yourself on it.
That's terrifying. We should all know how to do that. CPR and the Heimlich.
I don't know how to do it on dog. Probably the same thing, right?
I would think. Oh, my God. Pick up the dog, and I'm just thinking right now about the dogs we had in the studio yesterday, and I was holding one on my lap. I don't think I could give one the Heimlich, though. That's a crazy story. That is a really, really, really nutty story. Thank goodness he's okay. It is 5:13 at WTMJ. In 2 hours, 52 minutes, and 41 seconds, the presidential debate will take place. I'm rounding that off. It's actually now 37 seconds, 36 seconds, 35 seconds. You get the idea. It's tonight. We're going to lead you through what you need to know and what we will be looking for in tonight's debate. That's after Debbie helps get you home on WTMJ.
The Upswing is your place for commerce and community.
Some school supplies, according to monthly retail tracking data, are actually cheaper than last year. But a lot of other categories that are up 10, 11%.
Hosted by Jeff Sherman.
The average family is estimated to spend $874.68.
Weekdays from 10 to 11 on WTMJ. Presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs.
Sit means sit dog training. They are the best thing going. We just had somebody watch the dogs because we were out of town. I said, how'd the dogs do? She said, they're great. Actually, they seem to be behaving better. Yeah, they are. It's sit means sit dog training. Matt and his teams, best trainers, best techniques. They taught me what to do. They taught me how to do it. Michelle and I are better dog owners. It's sit means sit dog training. Now, the dogs aren't perfect, but they're pretty well behaved, especially when we're on our game. You too can have a happy, confident, obedient dog. Start with a free consultation. That's what we did. Absolutely free. Let Matt get in touch with you. You check him out, and then we began our training. SitMeansSitWaukesha.com. That's the website. SitMeansSitWaukesha.com.
Milwaukee College Prep, dedicated to closing the opportunity gap for children in Milwaukee, redefining what's educationally possible so more children can pursue their dreams. Join me, Good Karma Brand's founder CEO Craig Karmazin, and Milwaukee College Prep Thursday, October 17th, and take a stand in closing the opportunity gap for Milwaukee scholars. Your support means quality education accessible to over 2,000 scholars in Milwaukee's most challenged communities. Milwaukee College Prep is closing the opportunity gap. To learn more and purchase tickets, go to MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com and click support.
For love of the game.
But there's nothing like being selected to the Olympic team.
And love of their country.
Championship of that level, gold medal, means more.
Tune into Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network. Inside stories from Bucks stars on the agony and triumph of competing to win it all at the Olympics. It's Behind the Bucks, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic is sponsored by SB Framing Gallery, Milwaukee's distinctive archival framing.
SB Framing Gallery in the 3rd Ward can enhance and protect your artwork for generations. Framing pieces with archival and distinctive design. Learn more at sbframinggallery.com.
Traffic and weather, it's Debbie Lozica time. How we doing out there, Deb?
Well, we got a new accident. This is on northbound 43, right about at Bender Road. Left lane is blocked, so give yourself some extra time to get past that. We are seeing some delays coming up from before Silver Spring, pretty much from Hampton on up. Then a little bit backed up out of the Marquette up past Fond du Lac Avenue as well. Westbound 94 slowing from the Marquette all the way to Hawley Road. Eastbound is a bit heavy from 76th Street all the way to 35th. Southbound 41 also seeing some backups from Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive. And the northbound side's tightening up just a little bit from North Avenue all the way up towards Burleigh. I'm Debbie Lozica with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
All right, that 5-day forecast. Tonight, an isolated shower is possible, a low of 61 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny and hazy, a high of 86. Thursday, more sunshine, a high of 84. Friday, you got it. It's sunny and 78. Saturday, cloudy, a high of 77. Right now, it is gorgeous out, mostly sunny and 77 degrees.
All right, I have a question for you, John.
What do you got?
You have to choose A or B.
All right.
It's how jazzed you are about the debate tonight. Are you this jazzed as hell, as the governor says?
Jazzed as hell.
Or are you option B?
I am jazzed as hell.
How excited are you about the debate?
Oh, I'm B.
You're B?
I'm B. The governor sounded really jazzed in B.
He sounds so not jazzed in the first one.
How jazzed are you?
Oh, I am option B all the way.
I am really jazzed. I've really been looking forward to this seriously.
I know.
I think I'm going to have a cocktail. I'm going to have some popcorn. I'm literally going to sit down and I'm going to have Twitter going. And I'm just going to watch this thing.
I know. My husband thinks I'm way too amped about it.
Yeah, me too. I asked Michelle, are you going to watch the debate? And she said, oh, I guess so. I said, yeah, you are. Let's go. We're watching it.
So with the last debate, I was home and it was 10 minutes out. And I yelled out, 10 minutes out. And he's like, and my husband's like, who are you talking to? Who are you telling that to?
That's hilarious.
So there's going to be rules, right? Okay, what are we talking about?
Yeah, there's some rules. Most of the rules are the same as for the Trump-Biden debate. It's going to be 90 minutes with 2 commercial breaks. So 90 minutes with 2 commercial breaks. David Muir and Lindsay Davis from ABC will be the ones asking the questions.
Okay, what do you want to happen during these commercial breaks besides us running to the bathroom? But
I want them to show what's happening there. Do the little split box like they do during sporting events sometimes, where they do the what's going on the field in one box and then the commercial in the other box. I want to see at the podium, is Donald Trump drooling water all over himself? Is Kamala Harris frantically scribbling notes?
Are they fanning themselves?
Are they looking at each other?
Drinking? Yes. Are they talking to each other? Is he?
Can you imagine
are
if he was like talking? He was like talking smack to her, like during the commercial break. You could see him like, "That's all you got, girl. That's how we're doing this."
Or to David Muir, or fixing their sweat on their. Yeah, it's called a pip box, a little tiny pip box.
Yeah,
in the corner.
picture. Yeah, I want to see David Muir's handlers come out and fix that awesome hair of his. Maybe spray some hairspray in his hair.
Okay, what other rules?
There's no opening statements. Closing statements are 2 minutes. Props and pre-written notes are not allowed. You can't walk out there with notes. Candidates on each podium will be given a pen, a paper, and a bottle of water. 2 minutes to answer questions, 2-minute rebuttals. I like this line. This is in the rules. Moderators will enforce timing agreements to ensure a civilized discussion. Good luck.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, candidate microphones are live only for the candidates whose turn it is to speak. They will be muted when the time belongs to the other candidate. That's how they did it in the last debate.
Like before.
Yeah.
Oh, did you say in the commercial breaks if they can talk to the campaign?
They cannot have any contact with their campaign staff during the commercial breaks.
And they did a coin toss today to see who would have the final.
Man, you want all the details. They did. So Trump won the coin toss. That means he decided he will offer the last closing statement. Harris then got to choose the podium. Who cares? It's the podium on the right as you look at the TV screen.
You always want the last word.
Always.
Always.
Yep. How are they prepping? What are they doing?
She's doing mock debates. So she has an advisor who is playing the role of Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton had that too.
Does the person playing the role have really big hair and wear a red hat?
Have the verbato?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Red tie. Even
So
in the
Harris
rehearsal?
says that Trump has a real problem with the truth, and she's going to try to underline that. While the former president's campaign says they pride themselves in not over-preparing for debates. An advisor told CBS News, you can't prepare for the debate, Donald Trump. It would be like boxing against the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali. He essentially knocked out Biden out of the race, the advisor said. But something he's going to have to deal with now is that he's an entirely different opponent. And what we're talking about with Major Garrett coming up maybe is that they want to put all of Biden's baggage on her shoulders.
Yep. Yeah, they're going to link her for sure.
What do you want to hear?
Okay.
Tonight?
Here's what my deal is. All Americans are lying when they say they want to hear them talk about the issues. No, they don't. I don't either.
Mm-hmm.
I can read about the issues. I've been reading about the issues all day today, getting ready for these segments on our show. I don't want to hear about the issues. I want to see them under fire. I want to see how they behave when they go at it.
Anything can come out.
Yeah.
You don't know what he's going to say.
And I think he's going to be so undisciplined. Here's what I think is going to happen. It's going to be like his speech that we saw together on the floor at the Republican National Convention. He's going to come out. He's going to start the speech. He's going to do good. He's going to be on track. And then he's going to lose his mind. He is so undisciplined that I think his team's going to be saying, that's right, hit her on the issues. That's right, hit her right there. Link her to Biden, blah, blah, blah. And then he's not going to be able to help himself, and he's going to make fun of her. He's going to call her some name. He's going to question whether she's black. He's going to do something crazy.
Do you think he'll mispronounce her name?
On purpose, yes.
Yes?
I think so, on purpose. What do you think?
Yes.
That's part of his shtick, right? So for her, the test is going to be not to try to out-insult Donald Trump.
Yes, but now that you're talking about this, getting him off kilter and off topic could be the way to do it.
He's a brawler, though. I wouldn't, if I were advising her, I would say don't engage him like in that.
No.
Take the high road, right?
Well, this is the one that ended Hillary. Listen to this one.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
That was intense.
Okay, so that night, oh boy, that night I was at a debate party for Democrats, and everybody's like, I know, on their side, and I'm a reporter. I have to have a poker face,
Yep.
but when that came out, my jaw hit the floor.
But here's the deal. That was the most memorable moment from that debate cycle. That can't happen tonight because his microphone's going to be muted if it's not his turn to talk.
Ooh.
So we won't even get that. I'm not a fan of that either.
No audience.
Yeah. I say unmute the microphones. Let's have like a cage fight. Just let them go. Let them go.
Let him go wild. Just
In the real world, microphones are not muted. You can't mute a conversation you're having with someone.
It's true. You can hang up on somebody.
And that's true. So just let it go.
Oh,
I'm ready.
I would be so nervous if I had to debate.
2
Either
hours,
one.
41 minutes, and 38 seconds.
I can't wait.
Oh, I can't wait.
We have so
either.
much to talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, you got that right. It's 5:24 at WTMJ. Let's talk about the markets. How'd they do today? A mixed bag. The NASDAQ, it was up 141 points. The S&P was up 24 points. The Dow was off 93 points on the day. It's Annex Wealth Management, planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Steve Scafidi. Right now, receive 0% financing for 60 months. That is 5 years. Restrictions apply. Tell them I sent you and get an additional $250 off your project for the last windows you'll ever need. Go to UWD.com.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, when fall's crisp air greets you in the morning, it's time to assess your garden. Assess it with Landworks Wisconsin. That's what I do. That's what Michelle does. Are your plants looking full and overgrown? Got some open spaces you want to work with? Now's the time to think about bulbs. Spring flowering bulbs get planted in October and November. Let Landworks Wisconsin, who planted all of our stuff, come out to your house. Imagine the bursts of bright daffodils and tulips brightening up your brown, muddy spring garden after that dark winter. Give your future life some spring flowers. Let your garden bloom. Get in touch with Landworks Wisconsin. They did the work at my house. We're just out there again the other day. They're fantastic. Their people are talented. Their projects are top-notch. It's Landworks Wisconsin. Check them out today. LandworksWisconsin.com.
Between market volatility, inflation, global unrest, and the presidential election, there's a lot going on. Take control with help from Annex Wealth Management. Have a plan built that matches up with your investment and retirement goals. Annex does it as a fee-only fiduciary with unbiased advice. Annex offers financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. Head to AnnexWealth.com, click the Get Started button. It's time to put things in order. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. AnnexWealth.com.
Donald Trump's back, and he's out for control.
I would have every right to go after them.
Complete control.
I will wield that power very aggressively.
And he has a plan to get it.
Detailed plans for exactly what our movement will do.
It's called Project 2025, a 922-page blueprint to make Donald Trump the most powerful president ever. Overhauling the Department of Justice, giving Trump the unchecked power to seek vengeance, eliminating the Department of Education, and defunding K-12 schools, requiring the government to monitor women's pregnancies, and Trump has also proposed severe cuts to Medicare and Social Security. Those are Donald Trump's plans.
Well, revenge does take time, I will say that. And sometimes revenge can be justified.
He'll take control, we'll pay the price.
I'm Kamala Harris, candidate for president, and I approve this message. Paid for by Harris for President.
Hey, John Mercier here from my friends at Dave Drake Camp Heating. They know our climate is all over the place. This means your home comfort system gets quite the workout. Constant adjustments need to be made to adapt to our volatile weather. Wisconsin prepares you to be ready for anything because anything happens. Fear not, because for over 42 years, my friends at Dave Drake Camp Heating have lived here too, right by your side, ready and prepared for when anything happens. Spring, summer, fall, winter, even when they all seem to happen within the same week. Whether you're experiencing your next home comfort dilemma now or will be soon, call Dave Drake Camp Heating. For free estimates on new equipment, routine maintenance, or just to ensure your system is ready for anything, or maybe because you have a simple question about your home comfort, call Dave Drake Camp today. 262-367-2820. That's 262-367-2820. Dave Drake Camp Heating, your comfort is their family's tradition. DaveDrakeCamp.com.
When you have a stuffy nose, life can be a bit unpleasant. Some live every day with a stuffy nose, and that can make life downright miserable. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula with Advent, where we are committed to eliminating your nasal breathing problems with simple in-office procedures like balloon sinuplasty, which requires no surgical cuts, little to no downtime, and can have you breathing better in less than 30 minutes. At Advent, we understand your inability to breathe freely limits your quality of life. And that's why we continue to pioneer the most advanced in-office procedures that have made our practice a global destination for those seeking to live their highest quality of life. Visit AdventKnows.com to see if you're a candidate for the balloon sinuplasty procedure. Because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple solutions. Breathe well
Results may vary.
Traffic is sponsored by Sendik's Food Market, your trusted local grocer since 1926.
Perfect for the busy schedule, Sendik's Natural Black Angus Ground Chuck is just $4.99 per pound all this week. Sendik's, your trusted local grocer.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It's 5:30. I'm John Mercure. Your top story: charges for a fentanyl death and drug trafficking to teens.
I'm Julia Fellow. A missing diver somewhere in Lake Michigan.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Northbound 43, just about at Bender Road, has the left lane blocked with a crash. So watch out for the big delays. Now they're stretching back towards Capitol Drive. We've also got a crash on the ramp from North Avenue to northbound 41. So that's going to be slowing things down from before Mayfair Road up to that point. Southbound is going to be a bit backed up from Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive. Westbound 94 is heavy out of the Marquette all the way to Hawley Road. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
Tonight will be partly cloudy. Isolated showers possible. Low of 61. Tomorrow, hazy and warm. A high of 84 degrees. Current temperature right now, 77 degrees.
Pleading no contest to a fentanyl overdose death, 23-year-old Michael Mensky of Ripon, according to police, was involved in the overdose death of an 18-year-old man back in April of 2023. According to the criminal complaint, the 18-year-old and 4 teens went to a home in Ripon and used drugs. While there, the victim overdosed and became unresponsive. They took him outside, left him on the sidewalk, and ran away. Ripon police found him dead on that sidewalk the next morning. They have not released his identity. 2 other teens have been charged.
Still no sign of a missing diver near a shipwreck site 6 miles from shore. Recovery efforts are underway. He had yet to return to the surface at about 11:30 this morning and was in need of assistance, we hear. It's estimated that the water depth the site of the wreck is about 100 feet deep.
The manhunt is still underway in Laurel County, Kentucky for Joseph Couch, who police say opened fire along a highway near the city of London over the weekend, wounding 5 people. CBS News correspondent Matt Piper.
School districts in the area remain shut down as the search for Joseph Couch stretched into a 4th day. Kentucky State Trooper Scotty Pennington.
This is not like going across the road and looking in the woods and finding somebody. This is the national forest. This is thousands and thousands of acres where Mr. Couch could have went.
He's telling locals to not go outside to hunt or hike and to check things like doorbell cameras. Matt Piper, CBS News.
Less than 30 minutes before he shot 12 vehicles and wounded 5 people, Couch sent a text message vowing to, quote, kill a lot of people, authorities allege in an arrest warrant.
A 20-year-old man from Waukesha County faces a long recovery after he spent more than 12 hours in a ditch following a motorcycle crash.
Alex Giemza lost control of his motorcycle and crashed on I-43 near Sunny Slope Road.
He remembers hearing rush hour traffic, and he remembers nobody stopping.
Giemza's sister, Kelly, tells TMJ4 News he was in the ditch for more than 12 hours before someone noticed the wreckage.
I'm happy that he's alive and somebody stopped and saw him and did that because, sorry.
Now comes the long road to recovery.
He still doesn't have feeling from the waist down because he hurt his spine.
Eric Bilstead, WTMJ News.
Saving food from landfills and feeding hungry people. That's the motto of Milwaukee's new Food Excess Equitable Distribution, or Feed MKE project. Food Waste Coordinator Andy Shaka talks about how grant funding can benefit organizations interested in composting.
The funds could also make it possible for more local producers and businesses to serve as vendors for bulk pickup or delivery of compost in order to redirect food waste away from landfills and enrich our soil for growing even more healthy and nutritious food for even more Milwaukeeans.
Over $127,000 in grant funding will be available to strengthen food waste recovery and composting.
Decision Wisconsin, should guardianship records be made public? The Supreme Court heard a case today that argues the number of ineligible voters does not match the counts on Wisconsin voter registration lists. Wisconsin Voters Alliance filed lawsuits in 13 counties back in 2022 for access to guardianship records to check. The state appeals court last year ordered Walworth County to release those records with birth dates and case numbers redacted. The county appealed, saying that only those with the personal identifiable need for the records should have access to them. The court is unlikely to issue a ruling before the November election.
Time for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Packers are not expected to put quarterback Jordan Love on injured reserve after suffering a knee injury against the Eagles. Malik Willis will start for the Packers if Love is not cleared. And the Brewers begin a 3-game series with the Giants tonight in San Francisco. Coverage begins at 8:10 right here on WTMJ.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:35.
Sponsored by Grandview Homes, the name you know, the name you trust. GrandviewHomes.com.
Why trust Grandview Homes to buy your home? It's simple. We make the home selling process fast, easy, and stress-free, even if your home is less than perfect. No real estate agents, no repairs, no cleanouts needed. Leave the mess and the stress to us. At Grandview Homes, we live and work in your neighborhoods. Our reputation is built on 15 years treating sellers with the dignity and respect they deserve. Visit GrandviewHomes.com for your fair cash offer today. Grandview Homes, the fastest and easiest way to sell your home.
Another MVP has joined the roster at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, Dr. Michael Nolte. Expertscape recently named him part of the top 1% of spine expertise in the world. Dr. Nolte has published over 50 peer-reviewed articles in leading scientific journals and authored more than 100 national presentations. They added this MVP specialist for orthopedic, neurosurgical, and spine care because at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, there is a difference.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
Hey, let's check in with Brendan Johnson. He's in the Weather Center. Hello, Brendan. How are you?
Hey, guys. I'm doing all right. Weather very off-brand for early and mid-September, but we're dealing with it.
Little Birdie told me that you're like the king of pumpkin spice lattes.
Dude, love a good PSL. We found the healthy version, so I got the customization, so I'm not drinking all the calories. But I will tell you, I did have to go with the pumpkin cold brew, and I think that's going to be my order for the days ahead.
What size do you get?
The grande, the medium.
Go big. Yeah, you got to go big, right? So what's the customized version? What does that mean? You figured out a version that doesn't have as much bad stuff in it?
Yeah, so you opt for a like oat milk or almond milk, steamed latte. You do 2 pumps of the pumpkin syrup, then you opt for a vanilla sugar-free, no whipped cream, and you go down from, I want to say it was like almost 400 calories for like a grande. If you had a normal PSL, this takes you down to about 150.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay,
now,
you need to message me this.
Yes.
This is important.
I found it. Yeah, I found it on Instagram, so I was, because, I mean, you have one of those PSLs, it's a lot of sugar, and you're just drinking a lot of calories, so you try and find the customizable recipe so you can kind of chop it down a little bit.
So how many PSLs do you think you've had so far this season?
Ooh, okay, so, like, Julia, someone asked me this on, like, day 3, and I want to say I had, like, half a dozen.
Whoa.
Yeah, so we were like on day 3. So since that, I mean, seriously, in the span of just a few days, I'm like, wow, I'm really overdoing it. I don't know. It's probably cleared, probably at least a dozen at this point. Hot and iced, of course, but
is
yeah,
the No Fun PSL? Does it taste as good? Does the customized one taste as good? The first time I had it.
You know what? The first time I had it, I'll be honest with you, I thought it tasted like cardboard. However, acquired taste, and you know what? No pain, no gain. So we're trying to chop down the calories, but you still get the pumpkin in there. So just know if you're drinking a regular PSL, that's a lot of calories.
And what did you do on air? Didn't you have a scarf on? And did you have mittens?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We celebrated. I sure did. They let me go to a coffee shop on the morning show, and we decided to do a little. I tried to make a PSL with one of the baristas. It didn't go very well for either of us, but they were nice enough to let me go and do the weather from a coffee shop, and I appreciate it. We like to celebrate the fall season, even though it doesn't feel like fall. But last weekend, guys, it was amazing. I was living my best life with those 60s. Not going to be the case for us, though, in the days ahead.
All right, so start with tonight. Kind of let us know what we're looking at.
Yeah. So we're tracking just a couple of very spotty sprinkles making their way through central Wisconsin. Right now, pretty much along Highway 151 up north and east from Madison. So outside of just a sprinkle or two in some of the northwestern communities far away from Milwaukee, it is a partly cloudy sky tonight. Temperatures falling back into the upper 50s, low 60s. Tomorrow, it is yet another mostly sunny day. Temperatures expected to top out in the lower to mid 80s. We're talking numbers 5 to 10 degrees above normal. And then by Thursday, adding in a few more clouds, high of 82. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the remnants of what is now Tropical Storm Francine start moving closer and closer to us. The storm is expected to weaken significantly after it makes landfall tomorrow, but it also is going to slow down quite a bit and encounter the dry air that's been over Wisconsin the last couple of days. So as of this point, just some more cloud cover for the end of the week. I'll cool those temperatures back into the upper 70s, low 80s each day. And maybe a couple of spotty rain chances late Saturday night into Sunday, but that system, we're going to be watching it closely. We don't think at this point it's going to bring us a lot of rain. I think that rain chance is going to be significantly higher for really southern sections of Illinois. So we'll be keeping an eye on it, but all in all, just a little bit of a cloudy wrap up to the work week.
And Brendan, sorry. Our producer's Brandon, and I kept on calling him Brendan for so long because of you. Okay, here we go. So Storm Team 4 Chief Meteorologist Brian Isdansky was asked about the lack of rain and how the forecast could impact the fall foliage. Do you agree?
Sure. So, I mean, lack of rainfall as of late certainly can. I will tell you for the year overall, we've been running a little bit ahead in terms of rainfall. But when we get a stretch of very dry weather, we're going to see if that can have some short-term impacts. That can lead to reduced fall foliage colors. Those are a couple of things we keep an eye on. If we get, an extended period of hot weather, we're not getting really cool, crisp nights, and it's really dry out there, that can reduce the intensity of the colors, could kind of delay things a little bit. So we're watching it closely. As of right now, I'm not too sold on there being significant impacts on our fall foliage, but John, Julia, we need some cool, crisp nights to get those that fall foliage started. And as of right now, I just don't see that happening in the next week or so.
The more you know.
Meteorologist Brendan Johnson, thank you.
Yep, you take care, guys.
Talk to you soon. It's 5:42 at WTMJ. Traffic and weather up next. Then CBS's Major Garrett.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
There's an active car fire on Brewers Boulevard southbound.
Call me, Debbie Loziga, at the Hall Volkswagen Traffic Tip Line at 414-238-9329.
There's a multi-vehicle accident on 45 northbound, just over Mayfair Road. Looks like the left 2 lanes are blocked.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it?
There's a multi-vehicle accident. Looks like the left 2 lanes are blocked.
Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, you can always find the best brands at the best prices. But for a limited time only, we're offering our lowest prices of the year throughout the store. Like 40-pound bags of Blaine's Black Oil Sunflower Seed, $17.99, just $15.99 for rewards members. Save $17 a bag on Scott's Turf Builder Fall Weed and Feed, only $62.99. And all multi-pet dog and cat toys are buy one, get one free. Don't miss your chance to get our lowest prices of the year, only at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Serving Milwaukee since 1945, it's Otto's Wine and Spirits. Guess what I did? I'm in the wine club, and I got the best offer I've had in a long time from Otto's Wine and Spirits. I got the email, ding, I get an email every week. I can choose the wine or not. It's Chianti Classico from my favorite part of Italy. It's a small town in Tuscany. It's normally $18 a bottle. I'm getting it for $9.75 a bottle through Otto's if I buy a case. So I bought 2 cases. Wisconsin strong. They'll beat any advertised price. It's Otto's Wine and Spirits. Employee-owned, 7 days a week, knowledgeable staff, great beer selection, incredible wine selection, best price on spirits. Best selection, best value. It's Otto's Wine and Spirits.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Hi, I'm attorney David Gruber. After an accident, you need a trusted winning team on your side. For more than 30 years, Gruber Law Offices has helped Wisconsin families get the results they deserve. If you've been injured, call our firm today for a free consultation. We're available 24/7. Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
You're not just a job number as a Sidex customer. They've been family-owned since 1988, and they treat you as part of their family. Upgrade and transform your current bathroom space with Sidex Windows Siding and Bath. They have seasoned design consultants with 10 to 30 years of experience. The owner, Joe, is honoring his dad's legacy with top-tier products and expert craftsmanship. It's Sidex, the best in the business. Get a free shower door upgrade when you mention WTMJ. Visit sidexremodel.com.
Traffic is sponsored by Two Men and a Junk Truck. Keep what you love. The rest of that stuff, just ditch it. Get it out of here.
From removing unwanted clutter or junk to full-service residential or commercial cleanouts, get a free same-day estimate at twomenandajuncktruck.com. Keep what you love, ditch what you don't.
Let's get you home and get where you need to safely with Debbie Lazaga.
All right. Well, we got an issue northbound on 43. It is an accident with the left lane block right about at Bender Road. Delays coming all the way up from Capitol Drive. Got also an issue on northbound 41. It's on the ramp from North Avenue to northbound 41. Got a crash there, so heads up with that. Delays coming up from Swan Boulevard all the way up past the Center Street area, so just give yourself tons of extra time. Southbound on 41, also seeing delays basically from just south of Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving Time Saver Traffic.
I think this is the new Major Garrett music.
Love it.
This is it right here.
Excellent.
Major Garrett is CBS's chief Washington correspondent. He joins us from New York this afternoon. His Takeout podcast is heard on WTMJ. And check out his other podcast. It's excellent. Agent of Betrayal. Major, thank you for being with us.
Good afternoon. How is everyone?
Everybody's great here.
So excited about tonight's debate.
We are jazzed. We're really jazzed. We're jazzed as hell to be watching this debate, to be honest with you. What will you be looking for tonight?
Couple of things. First of all, this is not 2016 and Kamala Harris isn't Hillary Clinton. Former President Trump's advisors know that. They're just not certain he knows that. And what do I mean by that? Hillary Clinton ran for president in 2016 with 20 years of accumulated conservative criticism dragging behind her. Also, she was, to the minds of many Americans, a kind of all too familiar dynastic representation of the Clinton presidency that did not land well. Kamala Harris isn't any of those things. She doesn't have any of that baggage. And importantly for this country, the conversation about sexism and diminishing a woman simply because she's a woman running for president won't land the way it did in 2016. Remember, there were some pretty cruel lines that then candidate and nominee Trump used against Hillary Clinton in 2016. Women are much more engaged on that level. They're much more familiar with that. They're much more resistant to that. And as we have learned in every election, special or otherwise, since the Dobbs decision, women are showing outsized influence on elections over a range of issues, not the least of which is access to reproductive freedom. So how all those things play out tonight is fascinating to me. And on the other side of that equation, Kamala Harris has to reach a still, in America, undefined stature of a woman seeking the presidency. Until we elect a woman president, whether it's Kamala Harris or anyone else, until that moment happens, we don't know what that standard and that threshold is. It's still without definition. Tonight, she has to convey not only a vision, a sense of herself, but a sense of strength commensurate with our expectations of that office. And that's harder than it sounds.
I think that what we're hearing about as far as baggage is concerned on her is that apparently Trump wants to put all of Biden's baggage on her shoulders. But we kind of saw when the CNN interview happened with her that she kept on saying that was Biden's administration or that was the president's view, or she kept on trying to redirect that.
Sure, exactly. And you're exactly right. The strategy for former President Trump, as communicated to him by those who've been working on him in debate prep, is essentially say three things over and over. Inflation, immigration, world on fire. Rinse, repeat. Rinse, repeat. Just keep plowing that forward and make Kamala Harris not look like the change agent, which to the minds of some Americans she does, as a contrast to the deep familiarity our country has with former President Trump, that Trump is the change agent. If you are unhappy with existing policies in America, they are not going to change if you elect Kamala Harris. They're going to be very similar. Trump wants to paint her as Joe Biden equivalent status quo. What Kamala Harris has to do is say, look, I'm supportive of the things that are working in the Biden administration. I'm supportive of the things that have created jobs, that have raised wages, not enough to keep pace with inflation, but certainly higher than any other competitive industrialized democracy on earth, which is true. And I'm going to do other things. I'm going to change this, this, this. I'm the change agent. I'm not the incumbent. That battle for who the incumbent is and who the incumbent looks like at the end of the 90 minutes will tell us a fair amount about how this election is going to shake out.
Major Garrett, CBS's chief Washington correspondent, is with us. Major, you mentioned what America's ready for, what they'll look at. Do you think there's the possibility, and you've researched a lot of elections and talked to a lot of voters, that in some swing states there's a possibility there's unconscious bias and it could be difficult for Kamala Harris in some swing states?
It could be. It certainly could be. And like I said, until we have crossed that standard, and I'm not saying we will in this election, but I do believe sometime, probably in my lifetime, but certainly in the lifetime of this country, we'll cross over that threshold and elect a woman as president of the United States. But look, all of us go to elementary school reading about the father of our country, the father, not the mother of our country, the father of our country, George Washington. And we have always associated the presidency with masculinity. Donald Trump does not lack for confidence or masculinity, okay? That was a problem for Hillary Clinton. It may or may not be a problem for Kamala Harris, but it is one of those hard-to-define thresholds that only a woman seeking the presidency has to cross over. An unconscious bias against that, or reluctance or hesitancy there, is something as a nation we're still grappling with, and we will until we cross that threshold. One other thing about elections in my studying of it. In a recent podcast, former President Trump said something that I've known to be true since 2020. He lost the election by a whisker. He didn't say he was defrauded. He didn't say it was stolen. He didn't say it was rigged. He said he lost by a whisker, admitting for the first time that he lost, that he was a loser in the 2020 election. What I also hope to hear tonight is that confession repeated for all the world to see, that he lost, it wasn't stolen, and I'd also like to hear him say he's going to stop lying about the 2024 election, saying all sorts of things are already happening. They're not happening. Election administrators are doing their work, following the law, and preparing for this country to vote. And they should be allowed to do that work without harassment and lies of the kind that former President Trump is spreading with undue and unwelcome frequency.
And wouldn't that be good for him? That would seem to be good strategy, Major, for him to come out and say, look, we fought hard. There were irregularities I'm uncomfortable with, but I lost that election by a whisker. Let's move on. We're getting them now. And you know what? I wish I had won, but I lost by a whisker. Wouldn't that actually help him in some circles?
It would help our country. I'm not sure it would help him because there are 1,600 people who have been prosecuted and who have admitted to committing acts of violence or trespass at the U.S. Capitol who believed his lies. And he has some explaining to do to this country for all the trauma, all the anguish, all the unnecessary, pointless grief we went through on January 6th and every day since then with his lies about the 2020 election. It would be great for the country for him to come clean. But it would also increase his legal peril because the federal case pending against him, which will come to trial at some point if he's not reelected. If he is reelected, he can probably kill that. But if he's not reelected, he's going to have to face that. And if he confesses again that he knew that he lost, that makes those charges all the more ripe and piercing. But it would be very good for the country for him to admit what he has always known, that he lost, that it was close, that he gained a lot of votes compared to what he did in 2016, but he still lost. He's always known that. And those around him have told him that again and again and again and again. He admitted it in public while on a podcast recently. I would love for him to admit it again. And whatever damage comes to him, politically or otherwise, he's earned all of it.
I don't know. He may stay in the shadows for now because this is the first time they're meeting together, and they might be, testing how her performance is. Besides Mike Pence having a fly on his head, I remember her saying this.
This is important. I want to add, but Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking. I'm speaking.
Every time she kept on saying that to Vice President Pence.
I'm speaking.
And then the
Do you think she has
silence.
something like that ready to go tonight?
Well, that goes to this thing I was talking about earlier. Women in politics have to fight for their space at the microphone. They have to fight to be listened to. They have to fight to be respected. That's Republican women. That's Democratic women. And don't believe me, the white guy talking to you on the telephone. I've just interviewed so many women in politics who tell me this. And I've done a fair amount of studying this because, hello, my wife has a PhD in political science. We have a conversation about this with some regularity. It's a thing. It's not make-believe. Women have to fight for respectability and that ability to be heard. And to say, wait a minute, I have the microphone. I am speaking. It is my turn. Men have a tendency to believe it is always their turn in politics because for most of our history, it has been. That process is changing, and those women who are involved in changing that process still have to fight to be heard.
Major Garrett, the best in the business, CBS's chief Washington correspondent. Thank you for making some time for us, Major.
Enjoy the evening.